Let's see.
It's nice to have some semblance of relaxation.
Hey, so what's up, everybody? This is Sports Goose number 160. I think that's
Correct.
That's the correct number. So I'm Francisco. Let me lower this music. There's Andrew and Charles are joining me once more. This is the last one for this year, actually. As we go,
Really?
Yeah, it's our holiday break, and you're going to be moving to Seattle, so it's only
Listen,
fair.
I honestly forgot until about 15 minutes ago that
That what?
We just finished with the move
Yeah.
yesterday, so my concept of time is completely shot, and it probably will be for the next week.
Yeah, we've been doing the moving. I helped you a couple days there to get all the big stuff out. So, and you're
Which I have to go back and again reiterate my non-sponsorship to you for helping with the move, and also I'm starting to get into the Switch a little bit now that I have some time.
Yeah. Okay, so now you've been playing. So what have you been playing? Like, because me and Charles just started. We were talking about the video games and stuff like that. Charles is playing Mario Galaxy right now, which is an excellent game. And if you find collection, I think the Mario collection would be pretty good for you. Especially
All-Stars.
Yeah, because you have Mario 64 with the N64 stuff, so you got that classic, of course. But then Mario Sunshine and Galaxy is the crown jewel of that collection, really. Even though I love Mario 64, but the Galaxy is perfect. So it's a perfect culmination of everything up to that point for Mario until Odyssey. You should get Odyssey. That's a must on a Switch.
It really is.
Actually, let's do this. So this is a sports show, everybody. But so
Mario has sports games, so we're not far off.
Well, Andrew was playing with Mario.
Yeah,
You're playing Mario Tennis, right?
Yep. I played online with you the other night.
Mm-hmm.
We also played some other. I completely forget what games at this point.
We played, and I do remember.
Well, we've played the Kirby Smash. We played that.
We played Super Kirby Clash, which is fun.
Smash.
Yeah, Ash, something with an Ash in it. Well, Kirby Smash Bros. Is based on Kirby, so if you play a Kirby game, you're basically good for the Smash Bros. But so we played that. Then we played Streets of Rage 2.
Side note: Mario Odyssey's $40 at Best Buy.
Nice.
Streets
of Rage 2 on Sega Genesis, which was fun, but it's hard. Old school arcade game. And when you play online, you can't use the rewind feature, so we actually have to get good and play through it.
Andrew, do you like those beat 'em up games? That's literally what Francisco and I were talking about in the separate chat, where we think you would like those kind of games.
Well, first off, I'm hurt that you have a separate chat.
Well, we had to when we were building up for your gift.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't be like, oh hey.
And for the Splatoon whatever trash talk.
Oh no, that's retired because now we're just gonna make him jealous as he gets the bloodline.
Yeah. Now that Andrew's gonna join us.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the beat 'em up games because Charles has been throwing Ninja Turtles down your throat.
So what would you consider to be a beat 'em up?
Streets of Rage, Double Dragons,
Final
Ninja
Fight,
Turtles, Final Fight, the Golden Axe series.
Yeah,
you know which one I'm talking
Old
about.
Simpsons Arcade.
Yeah, those are the kind of things. Those are the beat 'em ups. The drop-in plays, beat 'em up 2D side scrollers.
You walk semi slowly, and a bunch of enemies are coming from the side and all that stuff, and you just you really only have like 2 buttons in a special that is detrimental to yourself because they always take health away. So. But yeah,
they're the coin eaters.
Yeah,
so, you're not that young man.
Button mashing as well. You're just kind of doing kinds of.
I mean, I'll be honest, guys. I have not played that many beat 'em up games. I really haven't.
Scott Pilgrim is what I think.
Yeah, I mean, really popular during the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen them. A roller rink that I used to frequent in Tulsa back in the '90s. They had the arcades. They had the Simpsons game. They had the X-Men game.
Yeah. Okay.
X-Men's also another one, legendary.
So I have experience with them, but it mostly comes from sparing. And honestly, I spent most of the time in the roller rink roller skating. That's kind of the whole point of the place. But I have played it. I have played a few of these. I remember also distinctly when I was a lot younger. I had a SNES. I had an SNES when I was a kid.
Alrighty.
Would you consider Donkey Kong Country to be a beat 'em up?
No.
Platformer.
Okay. Well, a game that I recall playing, and I just want to point this out because I know it's a little bit off topic, but when do we not go off topic on this show? But anyway, little old 6-year-old me has to get my tonsils and adenoids removed. So the quote-unquote prescription for that is lots of ice cream and milkshakes and other cold beverages. So for a period of a few good days, I was living the life. I was consuming mass quantities of ice cream and milkshakes, staying home from school, and playing video games. I mean, what beats that? So my choice of games were the kind of like the Power Rangers Megazord kind of rip off of Street Fighter.
Not bad games. The Power Rangers Super Nintendo game isn't bad.
And then I also played the Power Rangers the movie.
Yeah,
game.
those are all right games actually.
So again, I have very sparing gameplay of beat 'em ups, and those were 20 plus years ago.
Those consoles were really where it's highlighted for, so I appreciate the endeavor.
That Power Rangers game was hard, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or games harder back then?
We literally have discussed that. It makes no sense how I could beat those games when I was a kid. Try to revisit it. And I'm just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all we had, and we were dedicated to it. So,
well, the no save feature, kids, if you're out there, there was a time we didn't have memory cards. We had to keep them Sega Genesis and NESs on.
Yeah.
And I remember, I always joke with my father. I remember playing Mighty Max on my Sega Genesis, and we were in Jackson Heights. I'm about 5 or 6 years old. We were going to a birthday party. I didn't want to go because I was so close to being in the final level, and I knew I was there. And I copped an attitude. So I wish my father would beat me. I wish my father would have hit me with a broom or something like that. You know what this man did? He did the coldest thing ever. Ice fucking cold. My father's a sweet man. Ice fucking cold. He shut that motherfucking... He unplugged it from the back.
No.
Because you know how sometimes... Okay, so kids, when you had Sega Genesis, NES, and Super NES, they were all cartridges, and what the Mega Drive was as well, right? But not the CD one.
Genesis and Mega Drive are the same thing.
Correct. I forget that. Jesus. So you know how sometimes if you took out the cartridge, but you put it in like a half a fraction of a second, it could still stay there?
Yeah.
It has been done. Nope. It was too much over, and I swore on that day, I get my father back. Get him back somehow. That day will come eventually. 95 years old, I'm pulling that plug. How dare he do that to me? He's in the next room next to me. I hope he hears me say that. But kids, that's how messed up it was. That's my trip down nostalgia. Sorry, Andrew. I just remember this. Games were hard back then. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I was playing Mario Party 2 recently when I was at my sister's place with my niece and my nephew. And I was like, okay, well, let me see. We'll go to Minigame Island, whatever. And there's like, and I just realized like, oh, we can play the individual mini games, but we have to buy them, right? Okay, fine. You have to play the in-game normal mode to get coins and stars and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, fine. And then like each mini game costs like 100, 200 coins, and I'm like, how did I do this? When I was 11, 12 years old, I'm like, a bunch of free time, of course. Ignoring my homework, of course.
Well,
that's
we
how I
learned
did
patterns. And those NES, Genesis, and SNES games are very pattern focused.
Well, that was N64, even still.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
still.
I'm thinking SNES Mario Kart.
Yeah. Well,
that's
Super
what
Mario
always
Kart
trips me up.
Yeah, but yeah. So going back to what we played. So we played Streets of Rage 2. We played Mario Tennis 64, and I think Andrew enjoyed that because he's played through the single player mode already, which is cool. You unlock some characters and stuff like that, so that's cool. And it's the first of the Mario Tennis games, so it's a good one. It's really cool.
If you can get aces for cheap, man,
yeah,
we enjoy it. I love that game.
So we played that, and then we played Win Back.
Wow,
which is like a shooting game, a third-person shooter cover style game. And I told him it was like the precursor to like the cover style games, like Resident Evil 4 and Uncharted and all that stuff. It's very, very rough on the edges from the age stuff, but we did find that cool game mode, Andrew, with the finding the cubes or shooting the cubes and stuff like that. Like it ran like back in the day, the N64, PlayStation. Even Sega Saturn if you want, but those days where they were trying to figure out fun multiplayer modes, and that's not just like today where it's just FPS, Battle Royale, King of the Hill, and that's it, right? Fortnite. It's just back then they were trying all kinds of weird stuff, and one of them was shoot cubes, run around and shoot cubes. It's just a 2-player 1v1, but it was really fun. I was like, okay, that's really cool. That's really fun. So we played that, and then
Hold on, can I interrupt you for a sec?
Yo.
Yes.
Can you hear me over there?
I can.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to put a pin in this for a second because we have a guest.
All right. Actual sports. Here we go.
So this is my cousin's wife, Gita.
Okay.
She knows her shit. She's a born and raised Pittsburgher.
Through and through, I bleed that black and gold.
And she used to attend games at Three Rivers Stadium. So she and
funny thing, we got the Penguins game on behind you, so between them and I think the Blue Jackets.
Oh, nice. What's the score?
I think. Hold on, let me look at that. Because we have the scores and all. So the Jackets are up 1-0. There you go.
Oh man, that's fine. We're a late run team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, continue, Andrew.
So of her tons of sports knowledge, and she is a self-described baseball encyclopedia, or was that your...
Oh, no, that's my mom. No, I'm the soccer encyclopedia. But
you do not want to hear
I'm
what
just
we
a
said
sports
last
fan.
show.
Sorry, what was that?
You do not want to hear what me and Charles said last show about soccer.
Oh, shit. But it's nothing I haven't already heard before.
Alrighty.
Go for it.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, though, I'm actually a soccer fan. So, definitely not as much as you. I follow it cursorily, and I'm also an Orlando City fan.
All right.
I'm from Orlando.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also started watching the This Is Wrexham show, which is a lot of fun.
I watched that. That was like I don't care about soccer, but I do care about Wrexham.
Jesus Christ.
So Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds made me care about that little town in Wales. That's for sure. You can't find merchandise for them. They are sold out of everything. Whatever it worked. That documentary worked. I was trying to buy like at least a jersey or something. You cannot buy it. It's sold out. It is sold out through and through.
Yeah, I love what they've done for soccer and bringing it over to North America. Granted, it's been here for a while, right? but
You could almost say that this is Wrexham is almost, in a way, kind of like the Drive to Survive for soccer. What Drive to Survive did for Formula One is what This is Wrexham did for soccer to some extent. Because Formula One has exploded in the past couple of years thanks to that documentary.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now Ryan Reynolds wants to buy the Ottawa Senators and do the same thing.
I would not be against that.
They need it. That entire team needs an overhaul.
Ottawa, definitely, yeah. Yeah, Melnick finally died. Everybody was happy, so now they can figure something out. They got pretty good, but Claude Giroux's there for some weird reason, and Brady Tkachuk's there.
Fucking Claude Giroux.
Oh yeah, you're a Pens fan. That's right.
Yep.
And I will say this,
my brother-in-law is a Penguins fan, so I get it.
Ah, there we go. All right.
They went to he and my sister before they went to the 2009 Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh shit!
So they went all the way up to Pittsburgh at the old Igloo to watch a game up there.
Damn. Oh man, I miss that Igloo. I miss the Mellon Arena or Civic Arena. Shit, that was the place. I love that. Oh, now you guys are making me feel nostalgic.
Well,
I haven't lived in Pittsburgh.
So we got an actual Pittsburgh person here. Have you ever watched on YouTube Urinating Tree?
I just told her about it last night.
Oh, she's gonna be happy.
Yep.
He is awesome. He's a Pittsburgher through and through, but he's a rational one. Well, unless the Steelers win a game, in which case the Steelers are going to the fucking Super Bowl.
Oh, Christ.
Every time they win a game.
God.
Yinzer mode activated.
He specifically pronounces it as Stillers gonna Super Bowl.
Yes. It's Stillers.
Stillers.
You should look up like all the colloquialisms that we have in Western PA, even just in Pittsburgh. It's insane. It's truly insane. Like it's a different fucking language.
All right.
It really is.
So I have a lot of Pittsburgh questions, which I didn't think I would have.
Wow, nor did I, but all right, we're in it. Let's do this.
All right. All right, so Bob Nutting, your opinions on him. Pirates owner.
Oh man, that's the thing. I've been out of Pittsburgh for a good 10 years, so I don't have too much to say on him.
All right.
But I mean, I'm not a fan of the name. Let's just get that out there now.
Well, you're at the right show here, so.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're going to see how funny we can make with that name.
We haven't even explained to her the Henry Handy.
Well, hopefully we get back to that, right?
Well,
so I'm showing her our screen right now. So we each have our little kind of area on the desk. Like this is me over here.
First
this is Francisco over here in the middle. He's the one that's kind of been leading the show so far. And then Charles over here is a fan of the Tennessee Titans.
Oh shit! Okay.
And Derek Henry. So whenever Derek Henry does something particularly good,
there's a certain criteria that Charles has.
100 yards, touchdown, and sometimes he has to win the game because God knows that's all our offense is.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Tannehill was actually doing pretty well the first year and a half, and he's just kind of getting a little quiet.
Well, I can tell you why, but this is
not fucking receivers.
The man who caused these problems is no longer with the organization.
Yes.
So the celebratory masturbation of 1972 football is slowly dying out of Tennessee, and I'm happy for it. It's just John Robinson didn't want to get some things. Traylon Burks got hurt. But no, I mean, I can appreciate Vrabel's style, but just like Pitts, I don't know if you're a big Steelers fan fully, but, Matt Canada slows down the offense for that team. Well, Mike Vrabel and John Robinson's not triumvirate, but I would say a semi, Cleopatra relationship that they have is what kind of ruined the death of all NFL offense. Understand this, that the Denver Broncos suck because they suck. We have the second, lowest scoring offense sometimes just because we're stuck to the old ways. But please continue. This is your segment, your show. Have fun.
We go off on a lot of tangents.
No, I'm loving the tangents.
I can hate on so many things. We could do the haters ball part 3 if you have to on John Robinson.
Well, I got a lot of people that I hate, so if it's truly what it sounds like.
Every week so far this season, we've done a. It just kind of happened organically. We just started because Charles has a lot of petty in him. So when we started talking about NFL, we decided to just call it.
We love two kind of petties: Richard Petty and Tom Petty. That's Tom Petty. That's the petties you try to aspire to be.
Hell yeah!
So we started calling our segment the Petty Train. So all aboard the Petty Train because we're about to talk about NFL. So I mean, we can do it now because I have some things to say. I'm a Andrew. Would you describe me as a Miami Dolphins fan?
Yeah, no, you are. You're just the sober Miami Dolphins fan who's not rolling on that.
I'm beyond sober.
That's not a real Dolphins fan, then.
No. I am a Dolphins fan that has seen through the lights. I no longer believe in the team, and my entire existence now is I'm fueled entirely by hatred at this point for what this team has done to me for the last 22 years of my life since I became a fan when I was 11 years old. So, I caught Dan Marino's last season, and then after that, everything kind of went to shit. So, so, and then I made the futile mistake of believing in the team a couple seasons back, before the pandemic. I went with one of our buddies from law school, Doug. It was like, the Dolphins, we got Brian Flores as a coach, we drafted Tua, all this other stuff. And it was like, I've never been to training camp. Let's go to training camp. Why not? Yeah. People started believing, and I made the mistake of believing in the Miami Dolphins that season, and they broke my heart. So I decided to finally just, embrace the darkness in myself and how much the Dolphins have completely turned me into a lifeless husk. So this season I've just been hating them.
Dolphins. I have a feeling that there are probably some other things in your life that are contributing to that too.
But the Miami Dolphins.
It's all Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, exactly. Really, yeah. Because I'm a Miami Marlins fan, which tells you I am very loyal. I'm a Florida Panthers fan, which is also another sign that I'm very loyal. And I've been treated very nicely by the Miami Heat and my alma mater at Florida State. So I've been good with those. But the Dolphins have really fueled my hatred. I don't know why people love them so much down here. I was not alive for 1972, and a lot of people who were alive from 1972 are no longer alive, and it's dwindling at this point. So
it's the Dan Marino effect.
Dan Marino didn't win anything either. So
it's the Bill Parcells effect. So that's what started. I'm telling you, everybody came in big tuna. I'm like,
but.
Bill Parcells' legacy.
Everybody's like, Tua. We got Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and it's he's it, and he's undefeated. I'm like, you know what? Let him. Like he got the concussion. I felt bad for that, but then he came back and he started winning games. Oh. Sure, you beat the Detroit Lions. Fantastic. Okay. Oh, you beat the Chicago Bears. Ooh, good for you. Oh, yeah, you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. The formidable Steelers.
We're shit this year.
So, yeah. So, what happens this past week? The San Francisco 49ers. Oh, now you have a real team. Jimmy G, the handsomest man in the planet right now, gets injured. And so the football gods... They can't have that. And let's get this guy. What's his name? Bob Purdy?
I don't even.
Yeah,
Bob Purdy. He's basically Purdy Brock from Pokemon.
Yeah, their third string backup, and Tua Tagovailoa loses to him. So and Charles, you can back me up on this. I already said the Dolphins and Tua, when the things actually matter, is when they fold. Because it happened last season against the Titans was the final game?
Yeah, it was the Titans, and he had only 6 completions. So I watched that game start to finish.
Against the Bills a couple seasons back after that. So it's fine. You do great in garbage time and against teams that are below 500. Fantastic. You should win those games. But he hasn't won a definitive game against a real, actual playoff team. And so San Francisco's a good team. And
there were 2 picks and had a fumble in that.
And it doesn't get any easier. They play the LA Chargers next, which is a Sunday night football game. They're in LA. The Chargers are actually fighting for a playoff spot, so it's not like they're going to roll over. So
Justin
there's
Herbert's
that.
fighting for a playoff spot.
They got the Bills again, which is also I think it's a Sunday or a Monday night football game in Buffalo. So depending on snow, of course. So there's another real game that see if they actually win. And then you got the New York Jets, who actually are competent this year. So, and the Patriots, who are unfortunately okay, but only because they're in that division. So, so we'll see. All my opinions and concerns were validated last week, for sure. Dolphins fans are in denial. I know this. And I'm just waiting for the downfall because this team's probably going to make the playoffs, but I'm waiting for that wild card round loss, and I'm just like, yeah, I told everybody, I told y'all.
I don't know. I think they'll get past. I don't think they'll go wild card. I really don't.
You think they'll make it to the second round?
I do.
Okay, alrighty.
I give them the next round.
All right.
I got them getting out of the first round, or I'm getting eliminated in the first round, depending who they play.
All right.
Because the tiebreakers.
So
weird,
that's my stop on the petty train. Actually, we go down this list. But Charles.
Oh, you want to start with mine?
By the way, it's the year of the Charles. By the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
This capped it off.
Yeah.
100%.
There's a Charles on the throne in the UK. Like it's been going great for him this year. He just played God of War on PS5.
I bought it. I have no LED television.
Yeah, he got a 4K.
My niece was born, but unfortunately, she's not like in the top 5. I know that sounds callous, but material things beat out everything. There's a lot of stuff. Are we going to Tennessee on the petty train?
Yeah, go ahead because it's time for you to be validated as well.
All right, all aboard. Up to Tennessee we go. Go for it,
Charlie,
go.
your conductor's here. AJ Brown. So we did a live for background purposes. Francisco and I did a live stream of the draft when I found out the terrible news that AJ Brown had been traded to the Eagles for a first round pick and a second round pick, or for 2 first rounders and everything that trade out. So I was big time sad boy. I had basically wept like I would essentially burying a child. It hurt because I love me some AJ Brown. We have never had a definitive receiver that was that nasty, that intense, that physical, that purposeful, that everything. Our club, Derek Mason, right? There was times we had like David Gibbons doing some things. We went through the lineup of Kenny Britt, Justin Hunter, Corey Davis. The list goes on of guys, Kendall Wright, guys that I'm really going on to. That you would have to go to not learn a goof. What's our other segment that we used to do back in the day, guys?
Players remember forget.
Players remember forget, which has been a long time to really kind of go from there. So we had AJ Brown, who was like a second round pick for us, coming out of Ole Miss, I believe, just doing some work. I loved him. Before I knew him. It was just that beautiful. And he got traded. And what I always told people, I love what Derrick Henry does. I love Derrick Henry. There's a shirt literally made of a Harry Henry, and everybody knows the reference. But gun to the head situation, if I could be overly dramatic, I would have kept him. I would have kept AJ Brown instead of Derrick Henry for salary purposes, because with our system, the way that's run and how easy it is, truthfully, to get 1,000 yards at least in a season for running backs, it felt more apropos to keep the wide receiver who's hard to be the straw that stirs the drink. And we did. So AJ Brown came back to town. I didn't make that rhyme planned ahead, but now I'll take it as I can. So he came, we played the Eagles, and I knew it was just going to be a pure ass whooping right there. We don't have the cognitive ability with Todd Downing to kind of formulate a game plan to have a 30-point game. So we already kind of beat up a little bit in the secondary. It's happening. But AJ Brown just kind of went to town. The man finished with like, I'm going to pull up the stats. Let me just do it now so I'll get a stats as I harp some things. So give some insight. I have complaints about the Tennessee Titans and Todd Downing. He was arrested for a DUI, and I was just hoping that the judge would not give him a bond to be issued just so I could see what a real offense came out to, because I knew he was going to do a bad play call. Traylon Burks is slowly coming up. He's slowly putting work. He's our first-round draft pick that we took. But he's been injured. He had a touchdown grab, and then he got a concussion, so that doesn't help out. But A.J. Brown had 8 receptions, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Did it feel personal? It felt very personal to me. And people were like, you traded him away to the Eagles. I didn't trade him. I don't want him gone. I didn't do none of that nonsense. So he got the revenge. But A.J. Brown, he's given me a lot of happy moments in my life. He gave me the greatest moment ever. His ass whooping, his Hell Have No Fury, his What's Love Gotta Do It, Tina Turner revenge on Ike Turner against John Robinson, Mike Vrabel led to John Robinson being fired. And this made me so happy because here's my thing with John Robinson. He fell in love with the belief of the celebratory 1972 football masturbation that Mike Vrabel was buying on. Mind you, Mike Vrabel was a defensive player for the Patriots. Mind you, he worked for Urban Meyer, so that's where the masturbation comes a lot of. Ooh, that's a ding on Urban Meyer. I don't care. Screw him. He's weird. And then he had one season as defensive coordinator in Houston, of all places. So obviously, his knowledge of the game and concept of an offense is going to be really just strict to the run game. We would all agree with this, correct? So the fact that John Robinson, who couldn't get the contract extension done with A.J. Brown, who only wanted 4 years, $100 million, $57 million guaranteed, which I would have given him, considering the fact that with Devontae Adams also worth the money, was getting out of there as peanuts, pennies on the dollar. The fact that Robinson is gone, and whether or not it's because, hey, you're gone because you're having some beef with Vrabel, because Vrabel now realized, I don't really like this kind of offense because all we do is run the ball, because we have Todd Downing, who I'm sure I can make a better playoff come into it. But Robinson is the guy who collects our draft picks. He's the one who facilitates the free agencies. He's the one who kind of works with player personnel. And it wasn't working to a simple degree because there was a lot of purchases that he was making. I say purchases because essentially we were outbidding a lot of people. Like we got Bud Dupree, who's good for the defense in spurts, but he's been injured. You got to pay Jeffrey Simmons coming out, but we were kind of striking out on certain things. We had the first-round draft pick, Isaiah something. He went to the Dolphins, and he was out for one season. After one season, no longer in the league. That was a wash. He was a tackle to get anything in there. Everybody's kind of gone and injured, and it just kind of felt like blew up, built in, just destroyed itself. And now with Robinson gone, it puts two things in mind. Either A, Vrabel's going to have something to work with next year when it comes to competency in free agency. And mind you, Robinson was competent. We went 12-5 one year. Our AFC Championship appearance felt kind of like a fluke, but it was more like the Ravens and the Patriots were not prepared for that style of offense. It's more or less what it felt like. But I always told you guys on the show is that we only had a 2-year window. So if we get a new GM who fires Vrabel, fine. Fine. You have to really just kind of figure out what the next 10 years is going to be. You can't succeed in this market for a very small division that is the AFC South, which is very unimportant at the end of the day in the grand scheme of things, to where you can't make certain things. So if you're going to sacrifice another year of success to figure out what the next 5 years is, I'm all for it. Keeping in mind that we're still probably going to have the competitive advantage because I'm sure with Robinson gone, we'll actually spend more money. Here's the thing too. Who do we trade for? Robert Woods as well this season. Did it come to anything fruition? No, he's been the best blocking wide receiver out there, but we can't run the ball because Todd Downing just does the silliest things, play calling. But with Robinson being gone, I feel like this gives me a new hope. It validates the year of the Charles. It's basically say, hey, we validate your ticket outside the door because my time's coming to an end. Your Francisco is coming soon. But I'm going to enjoy those little bits and little nuggets of it. But it makes me very happy because we lost 35-10 to actually go back to the game itself. And it was a clear reflection that we built a team with starters on offense who are receivers like Nick Wakine, I can never say his name, Ekine Westbrook, Cody Hollister, other guys who really might be 4th or 5th in the depth chart, but are propelled to be 2nd and 3rd, especially since unfortunately Traylon Burks got hurt. And it's just not fitted. And some people are saying, it makes no sense to fire him. No, it makes every sense to fire him now. Someone got pissed off. He probably talked some trash back, and they reset the whole thing. And when you're really talking about this late stage in the game, something tells me they probably have somebody already, I don't know who, someone in thought process of what they're going to use to be their GM, and they're rolling with it, and that's what they want to do. So I'm happy because what have I been saying all season, everybody? Fire John Robinson, fire Mike Vrabel. We keep Mike Vrabel for 2 reasons. One, because I believe he is that guy who can make chicken shit or chicken salad out of chicken shit, because even though we lost to the Bengals, even though we lost to the Chiefs, I felt like that we can play with them. And that's the problem, though. It's a well-coached team, well-coached coaching, but we kind of play to each levels of whom we play. So if you're good, we're good. If you're a bad team, we play bad as well. Scary coming into it. So that always kind of gets me to a degree. But also, he whooped Aaron Rodgers' ass. Mike Vrabel did, and they went for the FU touchdown. So that kept Vrabel at least for another season. That's just my heart to it. And that's my petty train segment in Tennessee.
Alrighty.
So I'm really curious to know how you really feel.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Oh, I said I'm curious to know how you really feel.
Oh, yeah, what I really feel is I'll still support this team and Derrick Henry and still tell everybody that I'll give him the heavy handy for every time he succeeds.
Alrighty.
We love him.
Okay, well, I mean, we can stop in Pittsburgh as well for the petty train. So, it's in Atlanta, really. It was in Atlanta. You guys beat the Falcons 19-16. So you're a Steelers fan. How do you feel in this transition now that the leader of men is gone, Big Ben, and now that,
Well, like I was telling Andrew last night, Big Ben is either loved or hated in Pittsburgh, and for those who hate him, he's known as Ben Rakelessberger.
Yeah, that has been thrown quite often in this podcast.
Yeah, good to know. All right, well, so not a Big Ben fan, but I don't know. It makes sense that the Steelers are in a transition time. I'm still not fully sold on Kenny Pickett, to be honest.
Mr.
Yeah, he's a Pittsburgh boy. He did well at Pitt, but I don't think he has the pedigree and the right temperament to really take us far.
I feel like Pittsburgh is still trying to make up for not selecting Dan Marino for so long.
That's forever going to be our problem.
just keep selecting pick quarterbacks until we find another one.
I mean, they got Roethlisberger for 20 years, though, so it evens out, or close to 20 years.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
2 rings.
That big old German oaf. I don't know. I mean, I think we just need a total overhaul. I do like Mike Tomlin. He's a good guy. Super down to earth. I like what he's done with the team. I really do. And I'll tell you that. So I know a lot of the staff, support staff for the Steelers. I actually grew up with the Roonies, so I know quite a bit of information about the Steelers. But the staff kind of keeps them on a pretty short leash, and they have zero tolerance for anything. Even when dumbass Plaxico Burress shot himself in the leg.
But he was the Giants, right?
Yeah.
But they probably knew he was trying to shoot up other people in the club.
Oh yeah, most likely. But no, it wasn't long after that he was eventually shipped off. Where he go to the Jets, I think.
Yeah, he went to the Jets, and then also Santonio went to the Jets.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, and Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
So is the Jets just the leftover, like, gently used Goodwill of Pittsburgh players? Because now I'm seeing a pattern.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's where your career goes to die.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe things are changing for the Jets. So,
every dog
Johnson's around.
Sunshine will shine on a dog's ass at least once a day.
And Antonio Brown. There's another one.
Yeah.
That fucking idiot. He is like the Kanye West of the NFL. That is what I liken him to.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good comparison in a lot of ways. Actually, weren't they hanging out a few days ago? So that actually makes a lot of sense.
Probably.
I think there was a photo of them hanging out.
He was also at Donald Trump's house talking about, I don't know, hating apes or whatever minority group you want. It's Pittsburgh. Let's see, other Pittsburgh questions. How do you feel about the Pens? Why not? I do love the Pens. I
mean, they're the golden team lately. I mean, in Pittsburgh, because Pirates are the Pirates. Of course. In 50 years, yeah. Yeah, it sucks. You guys have a worse history than the Marlins, so as of the last 30 years. So yeah. Oh yeah. But that's how you know I'm a true Pirates fan, because I still root for them. I still admit that I root for them, and they have not been relevant. You guys have a nice logo and some cool colors, so why not? And a pretty nice field. Yeah. Oh no, I want me and my dad have been going to ballparks. 2019 and the pandemic hit, and then we finally went to Coors this year. As a restart of our visiting the ballparks. My brother-in-law has seen most of them at this point, or almost all of them. He hasn't gone to the new Texas Stadium, of course. but we want to do a central swing in a sense, where it's like, we hit Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit, like all those cities. Because I didn't realize how, because I planned it out completely on a map, and I realized, oh, these cities are very much drivable to each other. I didn't realize how close you guys are to each other.
Yeah.
And like proximity, like, oh, Cleveland's like right there. Detroit's
Cleveland's,
right there.
142 miles away from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's an easy trip.
Yeah, like
You got Chicago's an 8-hour drive, and you can hit 2 stadiums there.
yeah, we were gonna Milwaukee's like 90 minutes up, and then like even Minnesota to Milwaukee's not that bad of a drive. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So we wanted to go to Pittsburgh to PNC. Everybody loves Roberto Clemente, of course.
The special one.
Yeah. So there's that. All right. Okay, so I found a list because this is a sports show, everybody, but we do love talking about food on this show.
We do.
Oh, perfect.
So you're from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And I just found an article here. What foods is Pittsburgh known for?
Primanti sandwiches?
Well, that's actually number one on the list. Primanti Brothers sandwiches. So if I do go to Pittsburgh, and I'm hoping maybe next year I can do this trip with my dad to knock out some of those ballparks there. Is it as good as advertised?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. I love myself a good Primanti sandwich.
Is it a specific sandwich, or is that, or do they have like
options? What's in a Primanti
Yeah.
sandwich?
So it's the style of sandwich. So Primanti Brothers started in the Pittsburgh area called the Strip District, and that's where like all the warehouses were. So they would get a lot of truck drivers, and then eventually Primanti Brothers, who it's named after, they had a shop down there, and they would open at night for the truck drivers, and they would just serve them sandwiches. But because they were, driving it on the road, they wanted to make sure that they could get everything that they wanted in one bite. So Primanti sandwiches, you take sourdough bread, whatever meat you want. You get coleslaw, tomatoes, and then you put French fries, all smashed between the 2 buns. So it's everything that you could want in one bite.
All righty.
That is the majesty of a Primanti sandwich.
Good. Okay, so that's definitely on the list. Is it like one location, or is it like they got a bunch?
No,
is it like a thing?
They have multiple ones. The original one is in the Strip District, which isn't far from PNC.
All right.
But
Don't they
pretty sure that PNC has
an actual one inside.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's in all of the stadiums. Actually, yeah, you can get a Primanti sandwich.
Cool. All right. Good to know. All right. Yeah. Let's see. So, all right. So, okay. What the hell is a Pittsburgh salad?
That would be any salad with French fries on top of it.
Listen, that Pittsburgh understands me.
Yeah.
Never had it, but that's perfect.
Blue-collar town.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have clogged arteries and you live in Pittsburgh, you're doing something wrong.
Okay. How about pierogies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Most definitely. Oh, the pierogi game there is strong.
I like pierogies. I've only really eaten the frozen ones that are in the frozen food aisle. I've never had an actual real one. And I'm the cook of the show, by the way, so I haven't ventured into that territory. I haven't ventured to Eastern European cuisine yet.
Okay. So when you go to Pittsburgh, you want to. So one kind of cool thing about Pittsburgh, it's still kind of segregated into like ethnic areas. So you have like Polish Hill, where Kel Surprise, that's where all the Polish people used to live. You have Deutschtown, where all the Germans were. But in Polish Hill and the Bloomfield area, there's a place called the Bloomfield Bridge Tavern. Their pierogies are fucking phenomenal.
Nice.
Yes, highly recommend that. But yeah, the pierogies on par.
At this point, I might as well just go watch, just stay in Pittsburgh and just have the whole weekend just eat food instead of just heading up, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and just trying to hit up tons of city at once. Let's just enjoy Pittsburgh. Don't go to Denver, by the way. My review of Denver, man, like, do not go to Coors Field for food. I'm telling you what. There's a reason weed is legal in Colorado right now. It's the only way to get you hungry enough with the munchies to want to eat their cuisine over there. Not good whatsoever. Absolutely disappointed. Yeah. Ballpark's fine. Ballpark is beautiful, but they've got nothing in it. They have got nothing in it. So, yeah. Okay, so I got this on. What is this? Sari's Candies. What the hell is this? Do you know what that is?
Sarah's Candy. Yep.
Sarah's
Candy, it's a candy brand in Western PA, but they're famous for chocolate-covered pretzels.
Fair.
Right.
We like chocolate-covered pretzels in this group.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, is it like the little tiny ones, like roll golds?
No. They're like the. Well, I have midget hands, but like they're the size of my hand.
So, like the stuff you get from Auntie Anne's or whatever.
No, not quite that big. Like half that size.
Okay.
Still pretty good.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. They're legit. They are legit. So yeah, Sarah's Candy, most definitely.
All right. Pranto's burnt almond tort. Are these actual things?
That sounds good though.
Yep. Pranto's Bakery. I'm curious if Oakmont Bakery is also on your list, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Prantles, yes, I would suggest it. Can't go wrong with a burnt almond tort.
Let's see.
That's kind of one of those things that if you know about it and you do it, good on you. But if you don't know about it, you're not like missing anything.
Okay. All right. Let me keep going down this list. It's just like a generic. Okay. Heinz ketchup is on this list. Okay.
If you haven't tried Heinz ketchup up until now.
Actually, I'm an aficionado of ketchup, by the way, of this show, as Andrew can attest.
Ketchup?
He puts ketchup on his like public subs, like Subway subs and stuff.
Oh.
I've learned.
Not Subway. No, I'm not that much of a degenerate.
Yeah.
Subs.
I'm starting to judge you very hard.
Yes. This show is all about judgment.
Hoagie subs, whatever you want to call it. Ketchup is a fine condiment to put on them.
It is. It's a delight.
I would say that my weirdest condiment is mayo and French fries.
Nah, Canadians do that, don't they?
No, that's that's poutine as well.
Yeah, the Irish do that a lot with mayonnaise. You can actually go to like their McDonald's, or it's called Supermax.
Well,
Andrew,
I don't know if Andrew's told you, but me and Charles have been trying to broaden his horizons to get him to.
We're trying to change his skin tone a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I'm basically all Eastern European in terms of ethnicity. If you take out the Jewish part, they're both Hispanic or Latin American.
Okay.
Francisco is Nicaraguan. Charles, I keep forgetting, Argentina, right?
Argentine, Colombian.
So
I was almost about to say "Vamos Che" to you, and I'm glad I did not.
He's all about anarchy, though. So
yeah, he actually doesn't like soccer, so which is great.
That is
very anti-establishment. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a poor person's sport. Yeah. We're not there. You let the plebeians stay in the streets.
Not even a single tingle for Lionel Messi. Not a single one. You know.
Charles, if you saw her face right now.
I'll re-catch up to her. All right, so this is the position on soccer. To reiterate, but give it the cliff notes. A sport is supposed to make me think the athlete is doing something transcendent that I can't do. I cannot toss a 60-yard bomb, Hail Mary. I cannot dunk on anybody. I cannot basically work on skates. I cannot, hit a ball coming at me at 60 miles per hour on a changeup or 80 miles per hour on a changeup and 100 miles on a fastball. I'm pretty sure you put me on a pitch and Messi's there, I could pass the ball to him. It's unexceptional. That's the 4 people in this chat can do it. The most interesting thing about soccer is the pay disparity between the women's team and the men's team, and how we just won't relent when they're actually doing something of importance, and the men are just there. But we made it past. We beat Iran, America, whatever. Some guy.
You're making our guest cry, Charles.
Oh God, there's so many things that I want to say.
Sorry. And injuries we talked about last week. I'm sorry that the same blade of grass itch that I had when I was 10 years old trying out for soccer is still the worst injury I would have if I was passing the Messi. Or what's the guy say? Pulisic? Is that the American who got his penis knocked around a bit? Or a cup?
And my opinions, I mean, I come from primarily baseball countries, born in Venezuela, Nicaragua, so those are primarily baseball countries anyways. But soccer's had 3 chances to get me, and every single one of the Mario releases for soccer have not convinced me that I will like soccer at all. So if Mario can't convince me to like soccer, you, Lionel Messi, Ronaldo, and his handsome self cannot get me to like soccer.
Y'all just like soccer because they're bangable dudes. I get it. That's what it is.
Wait. Hold on. Back that truck up. What was that? I like soccer. Why?
Oh, not you. I'm talking about like the general consensus. I don't know you well enough to make that statement yet. I'm sure we're gonna find each other out as I insulted soccer, calling it a poor person's sport. But we had this thing too. I mentioned 3 weeks ago in the World Cup, people were gauging because of the attractiveness of players. Or was that in the group chat? Was that in the chat?
I don't know.
That's another thing I'm gonna bring up into the false
McCockner.
love. You might be a true blue soccer fan. The false love that the Americans got going on here is because they find the players either that we have attractive, or they're finding new exotic players not attractive. And then the false patriotism.
Okay, so we've had our say. All right, we need now we need the retort.
You just kind of like reach that point where you have so many things to say that you're just speechless because you can't formulate an exact sentence.
I've had this with hockey, so don't worry.
The truth does set people free. I understand.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. So, side note, hockey-wise, we're up now 2-1.
Yep. I saw.
Yep.
And then
Tampa's down 1-0.
Yeah, Winnipeg. Freaking Paul Maurice.
Okay, so soccer. Oh God, I don't even know which way to fucking take this. All right, so we can talk about Pulisic. I don't know. I mean, I supported the men's team while we were still in. The U.S. has a while to go, but one thing to note is that the U.S. has actually been involved in the World Cup since it started. I mean, I think the second World Cup.
The third place finish.
Third?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in 1920 something.
Yeah, way back in the day. But I don't know. The American preoccupation with, I need a high scoring game or do something that I can't do. Dude, yeah, we could both get on the pitch right now and we can play, 2-touch with Lionel Messi. But you put him in a game. Why don't you go play a game and try and keep up with these guys and run for 90 minutes, for over 7 or 8 miles?
The 4 people in this chat can do it. I believe in you guys.
Oh, no.
I would make it maybe a half a mile before I started to collapse.
This is why I was a keeper when I played.
Yeah.
I don't run. Nope.
Well, I will say this: it has grown here in Miami. Well, we'll see what happens in Miami because that's been David Beckham's whole thing, trying to get Messi to come down here.
Another handsome player convincing people.
Yes, so exactly to get him to come down here and become him, except for Miami, because that's what Beckham did for LA Galaxy a long time ago.
I remember.
So there's that. I did go see an Inter Miami game at the their renovated
Flockhart.
It was torn down and then rebuilt with something new. It's technically their practice facility until they get a new stadium out here in Miami proper, which there's a whole bunch of stuff with the politics and stuff like that. They'll destroy a public golf course. It's the only one in Miami. Bunch of stuff, but.
You should wait until my wife gets home to talk about that because she used to work for one of the city commissioners and she was involved in all that stuff. But go on.
So there's that, and of course there's the whole thing. Oh, another empty stadium in Miami. All right, fine. But I think Inter Miami's done okay this season as far as last cursory glance that I got. But I don't understand soccer. So I know you guys work on a point system like hockey, and then you have a bunch of stuff. But I don't know. So for me, I just never got into it. It never captured me at the right moment of conception as a kid. Compared to everything else, and even hockey, I had to go see live. But I could see why, especially after watching Welcome to Wrexham. I understand the level of talent, the level of thing. I mean, those guys are just like in a I forgot what tier they're on. Like almost not really bottom tier, but like very low
They're
down there.
in the, I think Wrexham's in the National League.
Yeah, but like
They're in the second to last.
how
tier.
hard it is, and just the fear, like the relegation, and all that stuff, which I find is an interesting system, for sure. It actually keeps you, it would never fly down here because we're not building a $1 billion stadium just to see our team play in AAA. So, even though the Marlins are basically that for a lot of their history, but still, and you as a Pirates fan, you understand that too. So,
Oh yes, the ever fiber of my being.
You know, but yeah, no, it's I get it, I understand it, but like I said, I only care about one team, and it's Wrexham. I was like, get those guys up into the next level. Let's go. They got second place, so they're almost there. But everything else, I just can't keep up with. And honestly, there's a snobbiness to a lot of, and I'm sure you can attest to a lot of American soccer fans who maybe feel a little like, oh, I like a European sport. You and your concussion-filled football. Like there's a snobbiness to it at the same time.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I think that kind of turns people off, especially on Twitter, which is always fun to troll American soccer fans on Twitter because it's like they want you to care so much and they care so much, but if you go in there and they bait you, they go for the bait, then it's like, oh, come on, man. So I get it. From as a hockey fan, we kind of, as the fourth sport, we kind of suffer the same fate. In a sense, because it's like you're trying to convince people to like, come on, these are giant burly Canadian men and they're smashing each other on ice. Who doesn't love that? So, like, I've been trying to convince people. As a Latino, I'm one of the few of my demographic to like hockey. But yeah, no, it's just a matter of getting people to like it. It's the. You can always like another sport, but just soccer hasn't captured me. It's just, but Wrexham has. I am a fan of Wrexham. If I will say this, and it's only because I like Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Rob McEnany had to sell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds had to sell you.
But yeah, he from his perspective, I'm an Eagles fan, I'm a Philadelphia sports fan, and let's just buy a random team in Wrexham, in Wales. With Ryan Reynolds, one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. So there you go.
Yeah.
And the bromance is great.
I think I need to introduce you to the culture, maybe a little bit.
There's a joke here. I just don't know if we're cool enough for it, but I'm pretty sure Kanye says the same thing to people, so I'm not doing it. What she mentioned Kanye and Antonio Brown, I'm just literally taking it and running with the ball.
Damn.
A real sport runs with the ball.
Oh no. So, yeah. No. Oh, you know what? Also, it's also a childhood fear. So I went to. Did I never tell this story? So in 1996, because you had the Olympics in 1996 in Atlanta, but I think soccer starts earlier because it takes a while for them to do the qualifiers for the Olympics. So. I think Atlanta wasn't ready, so they played games out at the Orange Bowl in Miami. And so my dad thought it was a good idea to take me at, 96. I think I was 8 years old at the time. 8 years old. I'd never been to a soccer match before. I'd never been to a football match or anything like that, or I think maybe one baseball game by that point. But I just wasn't a sports fan at that time. To take me to go see, I don't know, it was Brazil, I don't know what the other team was, but it was Brazil. Brazil was playing. So I was watching Brazil's, I don't know what, and that's the other thing about soccer. Sometimes they don't send their best guys all the time, and that kind of throws me off. I'm like, well, it's like watching, it's just, oh, you're not going to see LeBron. It's like, okay, what's the whole point of this? But anyways, I saw Brazil, and I saw the culture and the passion of those fans. I was in the rickety old Orange Bowl, which was already on the brink of collapse. So I was terrified that I was going to die that night. Because, yes, the Brazilian fans were insane. They spoke a language that I did not understand. And the Orange Bowl felt like it was going to collapse. So there's also a childhood fear of soccer fans, and I'm just like, yeah, you guys are way too crazy. Even the hooliganism kind of turns me off because, like, I get it, I mean, yeah, Vancouver destroys their center every time they lose the Stanley Cup, but still, nothing compared to what happens in soccer, and some of the collapses of actual buildings that have happened in soccer. That it kind of turns me off too. So
yeah.
So what I'm getting is that you're scared of Brazilians.
Culture-wise, I don't know. Like, I there are some things that like I want to teach you about, but like getting to know like the history behind the Old Firm Derby, which is between two teams in Glasgow in Scotland. And it's literally one team is more aligned with the Protestants, and that's Rangers.
Oh, that was in Wrexham. They talked about that, I think.
Yeah. So, like, getting to know that, and there are some really good shows and documentaries about that you can find. But like, it's all over all the derbies that are out there. I could talk to you ad nauseum about the beautiful game.
I guess it would. Well, the beautiful game is hockey to me, but still, that's
like, the second beautiful game.
Yeah.
Oh God, any sport. I feel like life should be more like hockey, where you go out, you do your thing, you're on the grind, but you have beef with somebody else, so you take 2 minutes, beat the shit out of each other. Sit in timeout for a couple minutes, and then you go right back to it.
Listen, if soccer had guys do that, I actually probably would watch more often instead of like falling down and grabbing their knee that wasn't even touched, by the way.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. The flopping also turns me off as well. It's in the NBA, rugby. And the NBA is kind of getting more into that too, because a lot of NBA players are starting to get into soccer as well. But like that really does turn me off as well.
And I totally get that. I agree that the flopping has been an issue the past 10 years. Really, it comes down to a guy named Didier Drogba. He's the one that really started it.
Is that from the GIF that I've seen of the guy rolling like 40,000 times?
Oh God, there are so many of those out there. I couldn't even tell you. Maybe I don't know. Look him up. Didier Drogba, fantastic player. Played for Chelsea in London. But yeah, I mean, you look at the guy and he would go down. And he's the one that really started off that big trend.
We need Zenity sit down headbutting people all the time. That's what I want to see.
Like, okay, so that would be Zidane.
Yeah.
Zidane.
That
guy's
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just headbutt.
Oh, there's some absolute savages out there, though. There's Luis Suarez, who play Uruguayan international.
That's the biter, right?
Yeah. Yep, he's the biter.
Okay.
Yep. He's bitten Giorgio Chiellini and... Shit, who else did he bite on the shoulder? I forget who else it was. But, yeah, you have that guy. What else? Oh, God, I'm going to have to rack my brain on this one. But, I don't know, just the culture of soccer, and there's always so much going on.
Yeah, we need our Brad, like, we got Charles into hockey a little bit. We introduced him to Brad Marchand. And he connected to him instantly, I believe.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Yeah, but he's an
good
angel off the ice as well. So
I can respect that.
So there you go. All right. Oh, it's we're an hour in. Yeah. So Andrew, it's time for a word from our non-sponsors. Are you there? Is he there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. So I think you should explain this segment.
Okay. So. Us being a little podcast that has maybe at most 3 or 4 people watching at any given time live.
We've made a couple $100 over the span of a couple of years or 3 4 years.
We've made a few Taco Bell runs thanks to our ad revenue.
Yeah.
Okay.
That.
All right.
Honestly,
that's awesome.
I mean, like I told you last night, this is really more of us just hanging out once a week for a couple of hours, just talking whatever the hell we want to. And we get technically paid to do it.
Yes. There's some sense coming in.
Good to me.
So we have a segment called A Word from Our Non-Sponsor, where we just choose something from the past week or whatever that we enjoyed. And we extol the virtues as if it was a sponsor, but they're not paying us anything to do it.
Oh, okay. I like this game.
Yeah.
I like this game.
Yeah, so yeah, it was and we do a fake promo code by the end of it. You punch that in, and I think one time I did Andrew as my non-sponsor, like, hey, everybody, put in the promo code for Andrew. He'll come over to your house and clean it. So, stuff like that. But yeah. So, all right, who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first.
All right.
So, and honestly, it doesn't matter who or what your sponsor is. Like, I've been non-sponsored by Francisco and Charles a couple of times. I've been non-sponsored by.
Do the intro, Francisco. Person, place, or thing.
People, places, things, concepts, what have you that we've been enjoying over the last week. All right, you know what? I'll get started because Andrew,
Well, I know what mine is.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
Pods.
Oh, yeah, that's very topical.
Like Tide Pods?
No, like the portable.
Very tasty.
Storage unit.
Oh, those pods. Okay, well, I need another descriptive word in here. Pods.
What's the name of the company?
No,
I thought he said
right.
Pogs at one time. I'm like, oh, that's all right.
Pogs.
That's a
Hey,
callback.
childhood. Nice to see you again.
So, as everyone knows, I've been in the process of moving, and we decided instead of the typical storage unit routine, we decided to go with pods. Now, for those who don't know, pod is basically a portable storage unit. It's the size of a storage unit. It looks like a storage unit. If it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck. If it looks like a duck, it's a duck. It's in this case, it's a storage unit that can be delivered to you, taken away, moved, what have you. So we decided to go with pods. It's certainly, what's the word I'm looking for? Convenient. Yeah, I would recommend it. I mean, if you don't want to schlep all your stuff from your place to the storage unit and back and forth and back and forth. I don't really know much what else to say about it. It's a storage unit that comes to your house and they take it away and then they move it back to wherever you're going. It's pretty simple. Promo code portable storage unit. Why not?
All right. Okay.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
So, all right. So I guess I will go next because I have mine on the mind. So, lately I've been I've just been busy with work. I haven't been able to cook as much, and you guys know me. I'm the cook of the show. So my fridge is empty right now. I don't have anything. So I've just had to, go out and look. The DoorDash, that gets expensive, yes, but they're good in a pinch. That's for sure. So yesterday I came home late from work and I was like, I'm not going to the supermarket because I'm tired. I don't want to look for anything. I'll go on DoorDash and see if there's anything. And I wasn't going to get my usual stuff. I'm like, do I get Chinese? Do I get whatever? Like, no. Okay, let me look for something different. And lo and behold, I saw something I had never seen before. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And it's a place called The Meltdown. They are the self-described handcrafted sandwiches. Basically,
that place you showed me.
Yeah. So The Meltdown here in Hialeah, here in Miami. They have basically they're grilled cheese sandwiches. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're cooked in the style of grilled cheese sandwiches. All right, get all buttery, greasy goodness on the buns. The sourdough buns and all that stuff, and then they got all the fixings for what you want on the inside. So, yesterday I was looking and like, okay, well, what do I get? And I'm like, okay, let me try two of these. They have combos, so you can get soda with the sandwich with French fries and stuff like that. So if you want to, that's fine, but. For the most part, I was like, let me try two of their sandwiches. Let me get some variety here instead of getting fries and a drink. So I'm like, okay, fine, let's do that. So I went with this combination. So I went with the first one, which was Feeling Groovy Melt. So that's seasoned grilled chicken breast, bacon, mushrooms, Wisconsin provolone, spinach, and mayo on a grilled artisan bread. I'm like, that felt like a safe pick, right? Didn't sound too complicated, right? Grilled chicken sounds good to me. And then I'm like, let me kick it up. Let me look for something else. Something with a little more pizzazz, a little more. All right, how about the hot and spicy melt? The golden fried chicken breast, tossed in Nashville hot sauce, melted Swiss cheese, tomatoes, pickles, and mayo on the bun. And I went with those two. So let's have half of one sandwich, half of the other, and see what we can do. And ooh, my goodness gracious, this place, I am going to be ordering from them a hell of a lot more now.
Yeah?
Yeah. This place is good. The Charles wanted me to describe it yesterday because I sent the photos over to them on the group chat, and I was like, yeah, this is what I had. The first one was the chicken sandwich, and Charles wanted me to describe it, and I described it as buttery, greasy in the right way, where you can't finish the second half without telling your heart to give it a rest with the pumping. So
that's probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, they've got a classic cheese, grilled cheese. I'd like to try that out, just as a base. But yeah, this place is good. I feel like me and Andrew should hit this up one more time before he heads out. For sure, I think he would enjoy it. It's within his spice spectrum, which is not very wide at this point. We're trying to get that pushed at this point. He had a chimichanga for the first time this year, so that was a great moment in the history of the show. But yeah, this is.
Oh my God.
I tell you, they keep a track of my whiteness.
Yeah.
Like I think am I at eggshell white right now?
Somewhere within those Pantones. We're gonna get you to that olive, okay?
You white.
You're
really fucking white.
Right?
I'm really fucking white.
And I'm the pasty one with freckles and like red hair.
No,
and I'm calling you white.
So what the hell do you eat in Seattle to begin with?
So wait.
Is it tossed salad and scrambled eggs as Rachel said? Because that's all
before I
got.
answer that question, wait. Are you done with your segment?
Oh yeah, we're done. Promo code. Give it a rest, heart.
That's always a good one. Okay, so that's actually a great bridge into. If you don't mind, I'll jump in and do my segment. I would like to have an ode to marijuana.
All right.
Yes. So, wow, where do I even begin? Let's see. So I lived on the West Coast, in Seattle, more specifically, from about 2019 until this time last year, we'll call it. And in Seattle, as we all know, marijuana is legal. It is very legal and very out in the open, as are a lot of other drugs. But we're just going to stick with marijuana because that's the only one I prefer. So, anyway, so there you can get marijuana in so many different forms. You can drink it. You can have it in a chip. You can have it in salt and pepper. It's the most beautiful thing out there. It really is. Yeah. So, I lived in Seattle, and, especially during the pandemic, my God, it was nothing but my 100-pound basset hound and myself and my edibles that got me through 2 years. And maybe copious amounts of wine too. But this isn't a segment about my love of wine. It's a segment about weed. So anyway, flash forward to me moving down here, and it's not legal down here, right? Could I get one of the marijuana cards? Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a pain in the ass, and I hate bureaucracy. But I've now discovered down here that they have this beautiful thing called Delta 8. And are you familiar with Delta 8, gentlemen?
Delta 8. Let me look up that on the Google. Delta 8 tetrahydrocannabinol. Okay.
So, layman's terms, what is illegal is Delta 9. So that is what the government has said. Hell no, it's a Schedule 2 still?
Something like that.
Yeah, Schedule 2. Totally illegal. But then comes along Delta 8, which is a completely different strand. And because it's a different strand, technically it's legal. So enter in Delta 8, now being sold at all of your local, I don't know, gas stations, smoke shops out there, and it does the same exact fucking shit that weed did.
Oh, interesting.
And now it's legal. So I wanted to give props up to Delta 8 and the person who found this. Not only do you deserve to be knighted and martyred,
Nobel Prize.
You deserve a Nobel Prize, and yeah, without that, I would be a stressed out fucking mess of a human being. So thank you for my microdosing. Thank you, Delta 8. And feel free to use promo code Live in the High Life.
Yeah. And we actually have good food over instead of in Colorado, which, food sucks. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of which, so going back to actual food in Seattle, it was pretty rubbish. I mean, you got a lot of, fresh crabs. Oh, that you can't beat that. Crab legs there. And so, do you guys?
What about Asian food? Isn't that like a thing?
Yeah. So in the ID, the International District, that's where you go to get like good Asian food, like good hot pot. Oof.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
can get with that.
The rule of thumb that I found.
Oh man,
in all
I've been
my
craving
travel.
pho lately, man. Oh.
That's what I've been into as well. Oh, they have some good pho over there.
Good. All
Yes,
right.
good solid pho. But good rule of thumb with Chinese restaurants that I found in the U.S., if you walk in there and they are not speaking their local language, then it's probably not a good place. You want to go in there and you want to...
You should see the ones here in Hialeah.
Oh, and I bet they're good though, right?
No, they're Cubans. Oh, by the way, don't trust Cuban pizza.
Yeah.
I do not trust Cuban pizza. I've tried.
We had a whole diatribe
Yeah,
on that.
exactly.
Why is that a thing? That Cuban pizza? No.
Well, yeah. Okay, so there's a difference.
It's
Sometimes
not there's Cuban pizza. It's just
sometimes
Cuban people making pizza.
Sometimes you get these restaurants, the ones that have like all the specialty pizzas and stuff like that. They'll say, okay, we have a Cuban pizza, but it's basically like a Cuban sandwich in the form of a pizza, right? Which is kind of gross in the way, in some sort of sense. And then you have Cuban pizza, which is prepared by Cuban people who have no idea what pizza should be prepared like and taste like and how the dough should be. Like it's not good. I've given them 2 chances and they failed me both times. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna get Papa John's. Forget it. So yeah, no, I don't trust Cuban pizza at all. Yeah, so there you go.
I have generations upon generations of Italians in my family that are just shriveling at the thought of that. So thank you.
All right. Oh, Charles, you're up.
Y'all already know what it is. All right, so the year of the Charles, we look at the checklist. I think number 1 is getting Ramona, for sure. Ramona is the name of my OLED television. I gave her a name. She's special. Number 2, Vince McMahon resigning. That definitely has to be there. And you would think...
Hold on, pause. So, Charles is a huge wrestling fan. WWE, TNA, WXYZ, what have you. So he is Vince McMahon used to
It's
be
a piece of shit.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So
words.
he resigned. He retired, we'll say.
No, he was disgraced because of all the fucking sexual assault charges. Oh,
I'm snapping my fingers. We're doing slam poetry. Let him have it.
Yeah.
You are instantly on Charles's like list because of what you just said.
Oh no, Vince McMahon is a piece of shit.
Oh my
And
god.
that was
Year
what
of the
kicked
Charles.
That's what kicked off the so-called Year of the Charles. So Vince McMahon retired. I don't know what you call it. Resigned or
Resigned in disgrace.
That's
yeah,
a good.
unceremoniously retired.
Yeah, there we go.
Niece was born. He got his TV Ramona. Yes, he named his TV Ramona
King
after
Charles is on the throne.
Shredder's Revenge came out.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was a good one.
video game.
Aaron
Ninja
Rodgers
Turtles.
sucks. That just adds it on.
and-
John Robinson got fired. It's all coming up Millhouse.
Yeah.
Got it. The year of the Charles.
All right,
Got
so, but what we had to go for is, as you all know, and now with newcomers all mentioned, is I don't hype up video games that I beat until I beat them. I can spend money on things like that. Well, God of War came out November 9th, and I recently beat it. And I don't want to be a father. I do everything I can to avoid being a father, but I feel a spiritual connection to Kratos because it's like, all right, I remember playing you on the PS2 when you were a Greek angry man. Over there back in 2004, 2005, coming into it, and I played majority of the games except for the side handles. And then 2018, God of War came out, and it was just fantastic. Brought a tear to my eye. I call my nephew Boy, and I was doing that for years on end. It still happens now, and he's 15. Something just beautiful. I like Norse mythology. I geek out on it. The compilation of everything was just working. So Chef's Kiss coming into the great game is fantastic. I replayed it a month before Ragnarok came out. I rewatched all the videos coming into it to get prepped, to get ready, and I have dedicated 49 hours of my life coming into it. Last night, I laid down the boy to rest. I kissed my sweet prince goodbye because I finally beat what I had to beat into it, and it was just beautiful, compelling, stunning on this OLED. This game is the reason why I said, yes, I'll get a PS5. This game is the reason why I said, yes, I need an OLED television so I see Kratos' ashy-ass face. They say it's the fact that, it's the ash of his wife and daughter. I think it's just because he needs some Jergens and some lotion. But beautiful man that he is. Christopher Judge knocks out the park with performance. So does Sonny Skolik and everybody else in there. It was beautiful. It was captivating. The story was so good. Video games are a new way of getting an entertainment of media to get a form of cinema out there that isn't just flashbang, splashy, the way that you get with every damn Marvel movie that comes out there, or every DC movie, or even James Cameron's Avatar that's going to come out, because it's all just going to be big spectacles with little substance that comes in. I felt a connection to this, everybody. I felt it. Gameplay great, combat great, graphics fantastic, story amazing. It stuck the landing. I had tears welling up in my eyes. They didn't shed, but they were welling. I had moments where I'm smiling. I did some stuff that I don't want to spoil for anybody who's still playing now. I said, that's fucking cool. I felt a little bit like both a child and a man at the same time without being the man-child that I usually am every day of the week. It was good. It was compelling. And of course, when I beat it, I rewatched cutscenes as I'm at the gym on YouTube, going through it, and I absolutely loved it. It tells a very mature story. It tells something about, new beginnings, new paths, the end of things, to be able to become better than that, to start up everything that goes in there. Some swerves. Story's a little disjointed. Do the side missions so you get a full, bigger picture of the world around you. But it was just beautiful. It was just great. It was definitely worth it. If I died tomorrow, if this was my last day on Earth, my life is capped off by the fact that I get to give this big review of how much I enjoyed this damn game coming into it. I was fortunate enough to play it. That's how much I enjoyed it. It's Supplanted, Celine, and Returnal for Game of the Year. I give it 9.5. Y'all should go buy it, play it. You can get it on your PS4, or you can get it on PS5, and I'm sure it'll come to PC. You can YouTube if you want. It's just beautiful, and we love it. There's so many words I could say, but we say now, good night, sweet prince. Until I boot you up in about 2 years when I want to replay the journey again. So God of War, Ragnarok, get on your PlayStation consoles. Promo code Year of the Charles. There you go.
Yay.
Yay. Culmination.
Oh, man. Okay, well, so that was good. That was good. So I guess from here, I guess we should talk about college football, because things are settling down there with regards to all the bowls and stuff, right, Andrew? Andrew? Am I talking to myself?
I hear you.
Okay. I don't know. Andrew, I lost you there. But if not, me and Charles can talk about gaming.
He wept with such love and adoration. He was so happy that it was just worth it.
Baseball, so hot stove season right now with regards to trades and free agent signings. Trey Turner is going to Philly, so they're trying to buy their championship now that they got close to one. That's gonna backfire, I bet. So that'll be
probably, but
Hey, it's gonna suck for them when they have to pay that man. And I think he's like 30 now, so he's gonna be like 38 by the time they end the contract. So that's gonna be fun for them. And then Aaron Judge still hasn't made a decision. John Heyman tweeted out prematurely that he signed with the Giants, and then the Giants were like, "No, we have not confirmed that to anybody," which I'm sure they're trying not to get anything spoiled. Unless I think John Heyman's like a Mets fan, so I don't know why he would try and spoil anything.
And
Oh,
he's
speaking of the
all
Mets,
over on my Twitter feed, I swear.
yeah. Speaking of the Mets, they signed Justin Verlander.
Eh.
You know, he's what, 38 now?
Yeah, 39.
They're paying
His
him.
stuff's good, but there's no more of an NL advantage. I'm just surprised Houston let him go.
Well, I mean, I think the Astros are. I think they think they're fine enough. He's fine.
You're gonna let go of the reigning Cy Young guy?
Yeah, well,
that's the thing that it's,
yeah.
they
Or
are
he
not,
was asking for way too much money for way too many years
maybe,
for them to be confident.
But it feels like it's not like the Dodgers who had guys already groomed in replacement, because every single time a pitcher leaves in LA, they already have one groomed and ready.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, the Astros have a great farm system and all that stuff, so I'm sure they'll find a way. I don't think the Astros are going anywhere anytime soon. The Mariners are trying to go all in as well right now.
I'm not gonna lie, just the fact that I don't have to hear my paralegal talk trash about how we get whipped by Justin Verlander every year when we play him makes me happy.
Yeah, well, he's a Braves fan, right? So
yeah,
that's
fuck him.
That. Yeah,
love you, Derek.
Although I think I don't know, maybe I would say that the NL East is a tougher division than the AL West.
Yeah, it is.
So
because Seattle couldn't hang with the big time.
Yeah. So,
unfortunately.
Yeah, well, Seattle screwed up their one chance. They blew the one game that they could have won and probably would have changed the series at least a little bit. So there you go with that. And then, but I still think, the NL East is going to be tougher for Verlander than he had in the AL West, because the West was what? The A's who were already tanking. The Angels.
Texas is going to blow up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm just calling that right now.
Yeah, DeGrom is headed to Texas, and I don't even know what that team is at this point. They got Bruce Bochy. I don't know what they're trying to do there. I never saw them as they're ready to take the next step, like Baltimore or anything like that. So
I can't name a single player on that team.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what it feels like with the Rangers. I think they're trying to do, like, remember when they signed Alex Rodriguez?
Yeah.
It's like, you guys, all right, fine, you got some hitting, but you guys have no pitchers. Now they got, I don't know, a pitcher, and I don't know what else that they have. So it's just,
I can tell you, bud.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But so there's that, and then I don't know what else is going on with baseball. Everyone's just kind of waiting on Aaron Judge, right? That's kind of like the last shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And Carlos Correa. There you go.
He's well, the whole thing has been that Cody Bellinger went with the Cubs, which also confuses me.
Well, he won the MVP like a couple years ago, so.
Yeah, and Bellinger is not a bad prospect at all. It's just confusing because it's like, oh shit, I died. Because no one knew that stuff was happening, and it just goes back to LA. Because you know what the problem is?
The Cubs would, like, I don't know. I guess he's young enough that the Cubs can they're in the rebuild right now, and maybe
I think they realize the Central's actually up for the taking.
Yeah, because the Cardinals are not that great,
and everybody's retiring now.
Yeah,
and so I really think they're not intimidated. So they're just like, and I like it. Look, I hate to say it, I hate to tell this, and people will kind of like hate me when I say this. The Cubs spending money is legitimately what's best for business, for baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To a degree. I always felt
you need one of those Chicago teams to be good.
You need one of those Chicago teams to be good.
And the White
and
Sox
to get something going.
Up, so yeah.
And, baseball, man, it's not like the NBA and even to a degree football where the young ones make, the sport investing go from there. Chicago has a very national appeal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it does. So getting people in there, they have players, they have stuff like that comes in, from your great Sammy Sosa's to, homeboy that just got traded around to Padres, whose name we forgot. Or not thinking, I'm sorry, thinking Washington. I'm not thinking
Darvish?
No, Yu Darvish was one that I'm thinking of.
Briefly, but
I'm thinking of the pitch.
Anthony Rizzo, of course,
Yeah, Rizzo, and then there was the pitcher that they had who just retired coming into it. This is what happens when I find stuff out.
He won Cy Young. Jack Arrieta.
Yeah, Arrieta. Like, there was dudes, man. There was dudes, and they had John Lester as well coming into it. That was the other name. Like, you have things that are very true. So I think Chicago just trying is always beneficial. Beneficial.
Yeah. And as far as the Yankees, your boy Cashman's back.
You know what the problem is?
Hmm.
I don't. Who else do we have that's better? There is a vision. It's called, one above average. A star is what I'll say. The vision for him that's been for the last couple of years since '09 or after '09 was a star, a couple above average players, and then let's just figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that's how it's felt. Obviously, my feelings on Judge. Hey, he won the MVP. Yay, that's fine. Trash, didn't do anything in the playoffs. That's all I care about. Do I want him to leave? Absolutely not. We all know this. If you guys thought I was serious, you guys are trying. All I'm saying is that if you have to hesitate on money, yeah, unless he signs with, I mean, really, it's innocuous if he signs with the Giants. Like it's like my thing is him going,
league, so it won't affect you.
Yeah, him going to Boston, I would have just burned. I would have burned down. I would find Chaim Bloom. I would have burned his office. Like there's certain things like you can't do that to me. Like if you're ready to move on, you're ready to move on. And the thing is, his standard quality of production has been excellent, but I don't want to pay a guy for, legitimately speaking, 1 year. That's my position. Oh damn! How come I lost all my 1-ups? That's my position that I don't want to lose upon it. Because of all these things, you know what I mean? So that's what irritates me. But for the Cubs to have it, it is truthfully, I feel, best for business. And, it's not like they're the major benefactors, but remember how many people got invested back in, 2015 when they won?
Yep.
Or was it? Yeah, it was 2015. I'm like,
2016,
Like, it matters. It brought in some relevancy. It also outshined the other team that was, like, trash, led by very good management in the Cleveland Indians.
Yep.
But baseball, aside from that, like Cody Bellinger going to, it's interesting, but it's a 1-year deal. So the idea is like he'll be young.
Contract, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is like 1 year at $17 million is fantastic because it just avoids the arbitration issue. That's what it is.
Yeah, the Cubs suck; they'll trade him. So. Yeah,
it's like we don't have anything else to kind of go with it, so let's have fun with it and then proceed. So this is what's the Hulk mean? I see this as an absolute win. But for the Yankees, it's kind of like we're now the guys that we traded in season for last year, we're kind of letting go, and that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. That's what it is. That's what it feels like. I don't care.
The Marlins, for some weird reason, people are like, "Oh, you guys are in on Xander Bogaerts." I'm like, "Nah, no, we're not."
Nah. No, I don't even know if you want to hodgepodge yourself too, because I like Xander. I liked him and I like the other guy.
And if we do sign him, it'll be like a 4-year contract with an opt out for like after the third year.
Opt outs are going to be very popular, man. Opt outs are going to be very popular.
Carlos Correa did it, so it's like, hey, why not? You go to Minnesota, see if there's something there. If not, they suck. Okay, fine, you can move someplace else, and he still had all right numbers. So, I mean. The Marlins would, I don't know what they need hitters, but it's like, where are you going to get them? And I feel like they're just going to work with the trade market. But the Marlins,
it's better for next year, especially if guys are just going to be coming out.
But we need to win like now, because like Sandy Alcantara's in the third year of his 5-year extension, and then after that he's gone. Like we are not going to be able to keep him.
No, of course not.
So like he's gone after that, and that's kind of like what I'm afraid of, like this window that the Marlins do have. Like you gotta.
But you want to do all that for window of mediocrity? You need to have a vision. The problem is right now your boy, whatever his name is, Skip, kind of seems more like a yes man for Kim Eng than anything else. And he does. I know our good friend Jeremy Taché, who's just doing everything now. But follow him on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, Charles the True, FJOJR, Dan Frijoles.
See him on the Heat broadcast, man.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
Jimmy.
Right with the Jimmy's right there. Get rid of Kyle. That's the thing for me that I'm like, what is it that you're gonna go on? I mean, the weird thing being friends with you and for Andrew and I kind of know it's always happening in Tampa anyway because of the fact that we're in the same division. Mm-hmm. But with the Marlins, I follow them obviously very closely because of aforementioned people. And it's just like, it just kind of seems like he's Kim Eng's yes man at the moment. And they'll kind of structure that roster in between. But it's just, I don't even know if your farm system's good anymore.
Well, it's gotten better. Before it was like at the bottom and there's just like nothing there. But the problem is the farm system is great for developing pitchers, but they just cannot get hitters. So that's been the problem. Like we recently traded Lewin Diaz I think he went to the Pirates. I don't know if we traded him. I think we just kind of let him go on waivers. Like we got nothing for him. and he was supposed to be like, oh, he's like the second coming of Derek Lee. I'm like, yeah, defensively, but he can't hit like him because we can't develop hitters, and everything else are just like bridge players, like really.
And you guys don't want to sign Miguel Rojas?
Hell no, man. Yeah. He's the bridge player. He's a guy that would be on the bench of any other team except the Marlins and all those other bottom teams. Like he's not.
Just didn't get it going.
Yeah, sure, good defensively, fantastic, but
because the problem is he was your most recognizable offensive hitter.
He's the team captain, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's the hard part. The way you just described him to me,
media friendly,
is kind of concerning if that's the best guy that you can offer.
We have Jazz, but he gets injured.
Jazz got hurt. Yeah,
that's the problem. Like and
that's the thing. I forgot about Jazz. If I'm forgetting about
he was gone for the second half of the season. He was just gone. I'm like, okay, well, he was a sensation the first half. Like he was a starting second baseman for the National League. So it's not like we don't. But then again, we got him from Arizona. Like we can't develop our own hitters. So.
Right.
I mean,
so
sure.
Andrew,
if he could pull off those
quick update. Andrew's saying that he's out for the night or done
okay.
for the night, sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's why it was kind of abrupt. I guess I don't know if we didn't hear him or something like that. Okay, fine. Well, we're an hour 37 minutes.
We got time.
Yeah, no, I mean,
we're talking about Jazz. There's actually some real sports being discussed.
Sure, but we can always talk about video games again. So
yeah, well, basketball. Let's just go basketball real quick, and then we can relate. We'll before we go to the close, we'll go to. We'll do like some Nintendo stuff in between.
Yeah, I have no. Oh yeah, Christmas. Christmas shopping, all that stuff. But like, I've not been following basketball. I think the Lakers have been on kind of like a semi-good streak.
Anthony
lately.
Davis has been nasty.
There you go.
Guy's been like and you know me, I like Davis.
Yeah.
I've always liked Davis. I felt that people get blackballed a lot in this
I'm
sport.
looking at the divisions. Yeah, I've been noticing. Yeah, AD's been killing it lately.
Like that's ridiculous. And Zion's actually doing well for the Pelicans.
Well, that's what I was looking. I'm like, okay, let's see out west. So Phoenix is in first, and the Pelicans are in second. I'm like, okay, all right.
We'll be fine.
He's healthy.
I'm not stressing anything that's happening to the Heat.
Oh no,
whatsoever.
No,
like we know how bad the East is, and at this point, we're just trying to play the game of who's going to pick up Duncan Robinson.
The Heat are 8.5 games back of first. Boston can take that, sure.
Who cares about first anymore?
Yeah, we beat them anyways, so it's not like just to remind them. Like,
and this isn't even Miami arrogance. This is just us knowing the damn sport.
Yeah, no, it is. So it's like we're there. Like, okay, so to avoid the play-in round, right? That's like the 7th through 10th seed. They would have to get 6, which is the Brooklyn Nets right now, and they're like only a game and a half ahead of the Heat. So I'm like, all right, the Heat can do that. That's fine. Eric Spoelstra doesn't know his rotations until like March. So even then, like by playoff time, he probably will change them anyways. So that's fine. The Heat will get on a good streak. I do not fear the Hawks at all. They're leading.
They're imploding.
Yeah. So
I don't want to say imploding. That sounds very like Stephen A. Smith. But Trae Young's being a pain. I don't want to sound like Stephen A. Smith. They have issues.
Yeah.
The Jonte Murray thing, we don't know if that's working out. They got Clint Capella.
Right. Yeah.
I like him.
Milwaukee's there. Fine. Cleveland is doing great. That's fine.
Surprise, right?
So, and then, but I mean, the rest of the East, Toronto, Philadelphia is only 12-12.
Yeah.
With Doc and all that stuff, and
that makes me feel good about everything I always thought about Jock.
And then the Knicks suck. That's always fun. So
they're apparently want to trade Cam Reddish.
The Bulls are not doing great. That's
the most surprising thing.
Exactly.
Because they were looking very fierce.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about DeRozan going someplace else. I'm like, okay. I mean,
we can't afford him, but
Yeah, well, and then the Magic.
If he wants to ride that train,
the Magic sucks. So that's always a given.
As the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, the Magic are going to be there for 2 years, and that's it. What's going on with Charlotte? Because remember, I'm interested in it because remember, no one wanted to work for Jordan, so Jordan went back to Steve Clifford.
I think you should watch. I think the people. It was a SB Nation John Boyce thing. It was like 2 hours long. It's super long. It's way too long. But you have to watch it in bits and pieces about the 2012 Charlotte Bobcats. The worst team in the NBA.
Is that when they went 7 wins?
That's when they won like 7 games and they're trying to tank for AD and they never got him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if I remember correctly, too, is the idea was that Jordan tried to play the whole. I think that's when. when Silas was also the coach.
Yeah,
too,
Paul Silas and his
Yeah.
son was the assistant coach. Yeah.
Jordan tried to pull the fast one of like trying to actually coach the team off the bench and everything like that. Because Michael Jordan, fantastic player, dick of a human being. I'm just gonna say.
I just found out that he has a golf course in like Martin County.
Does he?
Yeah, it's called like Grove 23
I'll find it.
because he wanted to spite a Miami Beach golf course that told him that his shorts were he couldn't wear cargo shorts. That's what it was, and it was in that documentary by John Boyce that Michael Jordan, just to spite that golf course, bought. I think it's in Martin County. Bought some land out there to make his own damn golf course where he can wear whatever shorts that you want.
So I know how to bring him up to where I'm at. All I gotta do is bring some dice and cards and just rattle the dice.
Hell yeah.
Michael Jordan's a notorious gambler. For people who are so young they don't remember the bad things about Michael.
It is in Martin County. Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
That's all I gotta do. I gotta make it seem like West Side Story. All I gotta do is just snap my fingers and rattle the dice, and Michael Jordan will appear.
It's like it's in like that big gigantic patch of grass between like Tequesta and Stewart, you know.
Yeah.
So like.
I think I know the area.
Yeah, but around Hope Sound, but just like all that, all that nothingness when you go up freaking at 95. So that's basically where it is. It's there. So that's where his golf course is. If you want to, roll up and bet him on anything, and he'll take it. So that's
all
cool.
I gotta do is bring in dominoes and start playing some music, and hopefully he'll be there.
Yeah,
you can't escape me, Michael.
So there you go. I just have not been paying attention at all to the NBA, really. I get cursory stuff from Twitter.
Yeah,
the Chris Paul thing about Kanye.
That's fantastic.
That was great. I love the memes from that one. He's just like eating dinner, and then suddenly his phone is blowing up.
The best one is the LeBron memes, where apparently he's like a fortune teller or whatever. I told Chris, don't do that. Whatever.
Yeah, because LeBron lies about like
everything.
Yeah, about stuff that he knew. Oh yeah, I was listening to Meek Mill.
Still love him.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. There was that. I mean, hockey's hockey. I've been following that, more or less for the most part. Just work has been whatever. Panthers are losing. That's great. But I mean, the Devils are still great this season. That's kind of been the big surprise for this year. Has been the New Jersey Devils. They're the best team in the NHL right now, and the Boston Bruins have been great. They're also tied for best team in the NHL as well, which is annoying. But still, Panthers have been mediocre, but people still have them as top 10 of odds to win the Stanley Cup. So I just think that we've had injuries. Barkov's been out for like the last 5 games, which is, I feel like he's been sick or whatever. We still don't have Anthony Duclair back. So there's that. And the Capitals haven't been doing great either. So I don't think that will last very long, but I don't know anything much about the Capitals. Seattle's doing fine. That's a good story there. And then for the most part, NHL's NHL. But surprise have been the Devils. That's been a pretty good feel-good story for the most part. And yep, that is that. All right, well, Christmas shopping and all that stuff. I finally started today because I'm gonna get some stuff shipped in. So I did the kiddos this time. So that they'll have fun with that. Some video games, so that should be good. So video games that they'll connect with for sure. I haven't looked for anybody else at this point, to be honest. And we already got Andrew's gift, so that's cleared for sure. But aside from that, I mean, gifts to ourselves. Charles has been doing that a lot.
A lot.
What's the haul so far? You got Sifu. You got.
All right, so this is game wise. We got
Cowabunga.
Sifu, we got Cowabunga Collection, and we got We got Sifu, we got Cowabunga Collection, we got Sonic, and that was the only games I picked up. And I still have like bunch of gift cards and certificates each where. I picked up suits from Express, and they fit perfectly. So thank you. You got to. Every like 5 or 6 years, I lost weight. I put on muscle, did all this fun stuff. It doesn't. You can only tailor it so many times, man. You can only tailor it so many times before it starts looking like a Batman cape. So it was just time to do so. Like my black suit jackets, I haven't had updated since like 8 years, and then my blue suit jacket I got 5 years ago. The gray is still good. The gray will stay the same. I also got some pants because some of my other work, because, you know, different kind of leg works out, was getting a little tight. People might be seeing the divider sign at work. We got to change that up a little bit. And then I went a little bit shopping today. But it's just tough because this month there's a lot of people who have birthdays and Christmas at the same time and Hanukkah. And then I just sent my friend $100 because him and his wife just had their baby yesterday or 2 days ago. And so I was just like, I'm like, God. And I just want to give everybody cash, and I want people to realize it's not that it's impersonal, and it's not that I want to not take the effort to think of you, but understand that I have gone and I've tried to shop for you, and I don't know what the fuck you want because it's such a Hallmark holiday anyway.
At least it's something flexible. Give them the thing.
I'd rather just like, you know, and I don't want to just buy people standard knickknacks that I get at goddamn Kohl's and just say, it looks like it was a lot, so I can keep it at that because I value so much I'm willing to buy more than what I budget for.
You do anything for
That's
work?
how it is with people.
You do anything for work?
I do things for work because I've known people for 5.5 years. Like, you know, there's three layers of what you get people for work. We know, you know, we're cool. I'm going to get you alcohol. That's in my second layer. And I have like 3 of those people. There's obviously my staff, and I take them out to eat, and then, you know, I might get my paralegal. He does.
That's kind of my dilemma this year because
you got to do it
this year because the last couple of years I've been just by myself at my own office, and then this year I finally actually have staff this year. And before, like the LA office, I would send them and I'll do it again this year. I send them the pack of the flavored pretzels, right?
Yeah, or you get them like edible arrangements for long distance.
Well, the edible arrangements, I don't know. I get them the pretzels because it travels better. With, you know, that's, you know, coated in like strawberry and chocolate, all that stuff, right? Oh, speaking of, non-sponsored, there you go. But still, that's what I'll send to LA. But this year, because like they even asked me, we're gonna do like I'm like, well, we can't really have a Christmas party. There's only like 3 of us, so can't really have a party. But like, we'll go out to, you know, for like a Christmas lunch or something like that, right?
I mean, we just, it's just about finding out where,
you know, I have two ladies, and I might just get them, you know, the Visa gift cards, right? That's kind of my only option. I don't know what else to get.
I mean, take them out to eat is all you have to do. I hate to say it like that, so it's shallow, but you know, it's the idea. So this is this is the 3 layers. It's take them out to eat. You get the staff. You got, mind you, I work in an organization, not a firm, so it's different. It is a different dynamic. So it's, you know, some of these people are my friends, some of these people are my colleagues, some people work under me. And that's how it goes, or work with me. I never like to say work under because at the end of the day, what the fuck do I know, right? Anybody who says they work under me, I'm like, you're just giving the job responsibilities. No one's really working under if you're doing the same thing as they're doing, right? Plain and simple. And they're doing the same thing as you are. And then there's like, you can always get that one sentimental gift for somebody. Oh, you want a bar of chocolate? Here you go, kind of thing. It means something. It's all right. But you got to do it for work. So it's like a lot of people. And then part of my problem with the holidays is I need people to realize we are not 19 anymore. We're 22. And I can't just meet you on a random fucking day. It's hard just scheduling stuff with you and Andrew. I don't get to see Andrew off, man. No. Like, it's just like, and the days I had off.
Crunch. You got to travel all the way down here. You got work. I mean, sheesh.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm looking into it. I'm like, but I like to say goodbye to people and stuff like. It's not like in today's technology, it's not like you're going on the Oregon Trail. Yeah. But it's like this. So it's like stuff like that. And the hardest thing is, I was in PGA today for the PGA Mall because that's how I spent my final day. I went to the beach the last 2 days to go from there. And of course, it was not sunny. It was sunny, but not hot enough to get a tan, so I'd still look white. But I am white. But, you know, I went to PGA, and as I'm trying to figure out stuff for people and not knowing what they want, I try to write out, because it's like, if I get clothes, but you don't know the clothes. If I buy you this, you don't do this. Like, that's how it is with my family. And my sister, her birthday is next week, so it's like I always say. My niece, I'm like,
twinsies. My sister's birthday is also.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. And then with my niece, it's like, all right, here's a little Snoopy doll because you're gonna be like, you're like 11 months, you're not gonna remember this. But I'm like my sister and I was like, but there I am, stuck, and I go to the damn jewelry store. And I'm looking at Hamilton's. I'm like, man, those Breitling watches look fantastic. You know who would be great with them? Me. I can't justify a $900 watch. I can buy it. Goddamn right I could buy it because kids don't have children and you can buy whatever you want. And then I'm just sitting there, I'm like, but I can't do it. That's my hardest part with shopping is, you know, building up stuff to buy more stuff. So right now it's the clothes, it's the games. I might buy a few more games because there's going to be some good holiday sales. coming into it. Because there always is. I've been sending you the deals.
I haven't. Yeah, I need to do my look at the PC sales because I always buy a PC game, at least one by the end of this year. So I've been looking. I've been kind of eyeing the PlayStation ones, but I might just buy. Yeah. I'll probably buy the DLC.
Horizon?
I was looking at Horizon. They also have Sackboy on there as well.
Sackboy's fun.
Yeah, Sackboy's also on there. Spider-Man is on there too, and God of War, 2018. So we got that. So I got to look, but I got to figure out if it's going to be on Steam or Epic Games because there's only two. I need to find which one has the coupons and stuff like that. So that's usually I get them for the cheap there, and then I'll probably get DLC for Maneater because that was fun, and I feel like getting into that again.
I have a bunch of DLC too. That's what scares me with these holiday sales.
Well, yeah, and then next year I got Sonic, and that's going to be fantastic. I will pay all the money to play as Knuckles in a mainline Sonic game again. Man, it's been like forever since we've been able to play Knuckles in 3D. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't care about Tails. I want Knuckles. And then so PC. I need to start looking because I've been looking like I've been looking at Unclaimed Baggage. I think Fire Emblem Warrior's been sitting there forever, but
now they have 3 Hope.
Yeah, 3. I saw 3 up, but usually that goes pretty quickly. And then I've been looking at on.
No, but Best Buy has 3 Hope for like 28.
That's well. Oh, okay. Yeah, brand new. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's why I'm like.
So
Amazon has it too.
Yeah. I'm. If I do,
is there anything? Okay, let me ask you this: is there anything that if you had to buy or wanted to be gifted, what would it be?
Because I know what usually every year my sister gets me the Switch, eShop card, right?
Which is essentially what I get you every year too. So.
Yeah, basically. So yeah,
because you don't do Game Pass anymore, and I don't know if you want me to contribute to that backlog. So is there?
I still have the one that I bought last year for 3 months. That I haven't used it yet, so I've just been sitting there with it. I'll activate it when I feel like it. If there's like a game that I particularly want to play, but Microsoft doesn't have games, so they got a bunch of games, yes, but they don't have like anything that they'll be like, oh, I need to play that right now. So, and then it's like Netflix, right? You have it, and Game Pass is fine if it's like your only option. You only have an Xbox, but with you and me with like 2 different consoles and stuff like that, it's like it doesn't like you waste a lot of that time.
Yeah, really. If I don't want to just download games, try them, and just like keep it at that.
That was my issue with Game Pass. It's like, oh, it's fun to try the multiplayer games that are like those indie multiplayer games. That's cool. You play that with a few people, your friends, and stuff like that. I was playing with Doug that are crossplay, and then some of those indie games that are real short, right? You get them done with like a couple hours. Hypnospace Outlaw was fantastic, but the big games, I have not played a big one aside from Halo and Halo Reach. Those were the only 2. And even then, those are FPSs that only last for like 10 hours. So,
but you have no gauge interest in like Bayonetta?
Oh yeah, Bayonetta, of course. Yeah, that's probably like if I had to ask for an actual copy, like physical, I'd be like, yeah, that's what I get. But I'll probably get the things, and I'll just I don't know. Maybe I might, I'm actually get Guacamelee on my Switch.
I would cry and watch it, but if you had to pay full price, that would just kill me. But you know what? As you talk, I'm going to take this on
so much money just sitting on the Switch right now, and I'm just waiting for the Splatoon DLC because we know that's going to come.
Next year. I'm going to get that too.
Whatever big DLC that they're going to charge $20 for, I'll do that. Unless it becomes part of my Switch online account, because you get the expansion thing. Some DLC is free.
That's right. I've seen that.
So if there's no point to that, then okay, I'll just do that. And then. I mean, everything else on the Switch, indie-wise or like download-wise, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's really PC that I kind of been focused on with the big AAA games and deals. So that's what I'm looking for at this point. So, and I don't think Steam cards are a thing, but Fanatical is fantastic. I've been looking at that lately. Just like they have so many deals. So if I do get God of War or anything like that, it'll probably be through them. Because I've been looking at Epic Games. Last year, they were killing it with the giveaways last year. I got the 3 Tomb Raider games for free last year at this time. But this year, they've just kind of been okay. I got Quake lately and Fallout New Vegas. But I think I forgot what is this coming week. Actually, let me look at that real quick. Epic Games, because that's the other thing. I'm not that incentivized to buy certain games, but I know those PlayStation games will never be given out for free, so that's probably why I'm gonna get that. Like Sackboy is still $60 on Epic Games. That I don't want to pay that for a game that's well, how many hours is that? I don't even know.
Sackboy is about 12.
Yeah. Okay,
it's a very fun game. I'm going to say that right now. Like it is.
So this week I'm getting Saints Row 4. That's what I'm getting this week.
The callback.
Oh yeah, with the 4K upgrade. So I never played. I played Saints Row.
I gave Sackboy an 8, so that's
2 and 3. So 4 I'm looking forward to. I'll probably play that a lot. So, but yeah, Sackboy, and then hold on, let me look on Steam real quick to see what because God of War on Epic costs. And usually they give me a coupon, but like last year I got Death Stranding for like $15.
Fantastic game. We got to get Andrew on that.
Yeah.
He would probably hate it. And he won't get it.
I feel like he would get it though. I feel like that it'd be his it'd be his pace. He can take his time with it, you know?
I don't know.
So God of War is $50 on Epic Games right now.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you could just get a PS4 and borrow some PS4 and pay $10 to play the game. That's how I feel about it. Ragnarok, yes, absolutely.
And then on Steam, yeah, they're still selling it for $50. So, and then on Fanatical, let me see if I can find a coupon for it there, because it's that or it's Horizon, and I forgot what the other place is. Because even on Fanatical, they are not really giving me
what you want.
There's not really. Let's see. Say 15% off any full price game. Let me see if this is for. Okay, so Fanatical I can get it for $42.
Yeah, that's a good deal. $40 is fair. Like I usually go for $30.
Yeah,
and that's as far as I go. The last time I ever had to pay anything in full, but you know.
Alrighty. Well, yeah. So that's basically Christmas and then stuff like that, and that's the shopping. So we're now at hour 58, so we can do the cage.
And it'll be a brief cage, but let's do it. Welcome, everybody, your weekly Triplex and Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a song and dance. It's about two partners moving in the ring, in and out, people trying to beat the holy hell out of each other, trying to establish their legacies, chase some championships, and go from there. And the reason why I say it's going to be a short cage is because I feel like nothing's really going on in wrestling to a degree. Partially is because the Royal Rumble's happening in January.
You would be proud of me, though. I do want to talk about. I've been watching wrestling. Like, I don't know how I stumbled upon this, and it's probably your influence or something like that, and probably the targeted advertising and all the data mining that they do on me and this show. But like, I've been watching like stuff on YouTube. You know, I watch my YouTube's my favorite thing to watch. You know, history stuff, you know, all kinds of stuff. And for some reason, I'm starting to get recommended wrestling history stuff.
That's fine. I love all those. That's fun.
So that's why, like, lately I've been kind of sending you, like, why are they fighting for the custody of this child?
Yeah, the Dominic and Eddie. Yes.
Yeah. First off, I don't know how that came about. But I was watching a video about. I watched one about Hulk Hogan recently, just to learn about, you know, his history and all that stuff, and you know, all of that. And then I watched a video about WCW, the one that I sent you.
The Fall, where I just said Vince Russo. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. So I watched that and learned a little bit about that history. And then, hold on, let me see. Let me just type in wrestling here. This is my YouTube history, just to see if I can find something. So most hated, and then let's see. So it was Hulk Hogan, but the channel is called Stunned by Wrestling. That's the channel that I got recommended on YouTube, and it's a British guy. And so I've been kind of watching that, and I might start watching that more, just to, you know, you get more context from what all the insanity that you say.
Yeah, I think that helps out too for me in regards to that. But I'll give you the fall of WCW. So let me give you my backstory love of WCW, and then we'll talk about it from my opinion as a viewer. I'm not going to talk about the whole scheme of things, because there's a difference between, you have to be a fan of a fan, right? And there's a difference between here's an analytical thing. It's wrestling. Essentially, it's a television show, right? That gets canceled. It goes bankrupt. But I first got into wrestling around 1997 when I moved to Florida around August or September. I think July, actually. So July, I was into wrestling, and I was into both WCW and WWF at that time, which later became WWE. There was things I liked a lot about WCW that I felt WWF didn't have, and I liked the cruiserweights. Obviously, I was a Rey Mysterio guy.
From what I got was that it was just they both had a distinct style of presentation, right?
Correct. And the mats hit louder, the stables were good. Like we all about the NWO, man, and the Four Horsemen were good too. And mind you, WCW, I didn't know this because
I didn't realize. I don't know if you watched the show called Detroiters on Comedy Central.
No.
Well, there's an episode where Tim Robinson. I don't know if you've watched. I Think You Should Leave on Netflix.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you should watch.
You think I'm behind on games, television.
If you like weird, like sketch comedy, kind of sort of like in the vein of Tim and Eric, then you'll like that. But in one of the episodes of Detroiters, his dad comes and they're like an advertising agency. And his dad comes and his dad is just a big tall guy. I didn't realize that he was a wrestler, Kevin Nash. I didn't know that was him.
Yeah. Nash was acting a lot. I actually listened to Kevin Nash's podcast. Click this. Unfortunately for him, his kid died like a month ago, and then Scott Hall died. So if it was the year of Charles, it's not the year of the Kevin. Love him though, support him, watch his podcast, man. He's been rumored to be a dick for all the politics they played, but there's wrestlers that you just like, and I always liked Nash back in his WCW days. And then he went around. He was Diesel in WWE, and then came back as Kevin Nash. But so when you're 7, you don't realize that some of these guys are really just WWF cast-offs who came over, or they flitter around. They went to different times, different periods of years, stuff like that. This is your first time thinking about them. This is your first impression. There was people I liked. I liked Chris Benoit over there. I'm sorry. I liked Malenko. I liked Juventud. I liked Eddie Guerrero. I liked Jericho. I liked Kevin Nash. I love me some Scott Hall. I love me some Kurt Hennig when he was not Mr. Perfect, but still the perfect Kurt Hennig. There was just a lot of stuff coming into it. I like the WCW stuff. I like Sting. The whole Crow thing that they did, they built into it. I didn't care for Hogan. You could tell the match quality was there. I liked Goldberg when Goldberg was not beaten. The whole undefeated streak, I think, is a fantastic way of start to finish do storytelling, and they lost that lackluster. And what happened was they went for a different creative direction, and they had Vince Russo, who was a former WWF writer, basically get the whole thing WCW. And what he did, there was Finger Poke of Doom, and I've talked to you guys about that before.
I saw that.
That is the beginning of the death knell that led to WCW's demise. Mind you, WCW also gave me Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, and we love Scott Steiner in this fucking household. But my problem with Russo, I remember it plain as day, and I think that was the decision for me to stop, was because wrestling, you have to be invested into the fan. You have to keep the fan in there. The worst thing you have to do is the worst thing you can do is break the facade for the viewership and make it really just apparently that's all made up. WWE did that a couple of years ago when the ratings were bad and all the McMahons came out and they said, we know things are bad. We're going to change these things. You deserve better. And that's when they were using Baron as, Constable Corbin as like a scapegoat for the story, which was fine. But I think you get dangerous when you try to make this acknowledgement that it's bad. We're going to change it. Why can't you just change it behind the scenes and get out of this writing? I remember Russo came out and said, everybody stripped the titles. Everything's going to be new again. We're going to start this all out. We're going to go from there. And I think that's where they lost me, because you broke the illusion. You broke the place. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the equivalent of you're going to go on a date with somebody. You hype up how the person was going to be.
You saw the wizard behind the curtain, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good way. And that's a Wizard of Oz reference for kids who haven't seen it. In a real humanistic way was you're going on a blind date, and then you see that your date is not in their profile picture, right? So that's how it felt, and that's why I made the conscious decision. I'm like, I'm gonna bail. And I remember watching WCW's last match, but I found myself watching Raw more frequently. Like correct. The last match they did was Sting and Ric Flair, and I believe it was 1999. No, 2000. Yeah, because they had NWO 2000. That's where it kind of died. And then what happened was the people who were under contract from Ted Turner from Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers.
Yeah, AOL Time Warner bought all that stuff and things changed.
Yeah, also. but the big names couldn't come in there. So they didn't have a lot of training for the guys who were there, because WCW, you only had 2 shows a week, very similar to AEW. But WWF had the whole everybody's on the road, everybody's getting training, everybody's conditioned. You're on the road 300 times out the week. But Raw was already getting more interesting. SmackDown was getting more interesting. You had a lot of big push players in there in WWE. I think it was they didn't know how to write stars, but I think you change management. You had Russo doing everything. It was unwatchable. And then they gave David Arquette the main title. That's right, David Arquette from Scream, and the guy known for being famous for dating Courtney Cox and being married to Courtney Cox. He was actually in because they had a compilation movie of a Ready to Rumble with Scott Caan, which I watched, and it was an okay movie. It's not as bad as you think it is. And they let him win the title. I think Nash actually has something on. I'm going to link it to you if you want to watch it later. But that's for me is what it ended because let the bad taste. Plus, Vince Russo has a very punchable face. Even now, him and Bischoff, with Bischoff's 83 weeks of like, oh, we were able to beat WWF for like 82 or 83 weeks consecutively. But I rather listen to Bischoff more than Vince Russo because at the end of the day, Eric Bischoff doesn't annoy me the way Vince Russo does. It's the same way with Jim Cornette. I know
he does a face.
Vince Russo has the most right next to Jim Cornette, but Jim Cornette I at least will understand for the territories in the old days. But Cornette's a little bit antiquity, but Cornette also, and I think I sent you a tweet from his video when he explains what wrestling is. I'm like, I hate how on point he is, but it's correct, coming into it. But it could be Mills Lane died. Everybody's died. But it could be as annoying. But that was for me was the end of it. And I'll go back and watch some old WCW stuff. I was watching Halloween Havoc 89 the other day, and it makes sense why WCW NWA was no longer in there. And WWE is doing fine. The good thing for AEW when you talk about WCW, is it going to be like AEW is going to have that same fate? I don't think so, more or less, because I think there's more attunement and awareness. And the thing is that the fans that are they understand there's a niche style of AEW and WWE. And today is not the time or place to actually have me define to you the differences, because sometimes you can watch both products and you could see it. They look similar. And then sometimes you can see how they're different, where one organization uses blood and a lot of more high-end acrobatic stuff. There's a science to this, because really I don't think it's more the program. I think it's more the wrestler. But sometimes the programs, the product have to change it. But with AEW, the biggest thing is that because they have a niche fan base and there's a lot of people that are dedicated to it and they're going to go to the shows, it's going to help them expand more. And I think partially what helps AEW, and I could be wrong, but the demographics are younger people, and younger people tend to grow with things, whereas WWE fanatics may not like what's being sought on AEW. So as long as the niche field, and I say niche without insult, but as long as the demographic stays, like, and I watch AEW, it's not religious, but because it's just too much wrestling for me. Like, I haven't even touched 2K22 in like a month, man, because it's like I got to do wrestling and I got to watch it, and I got to do on the show.
You said there's not much going on in the wrestling world, so but I can.
To me, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. But I can still ask, like, for the most part, like, for at this point, like, how old is AEW now? How many years?
AEW is going on 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Like do you feel like they've established their audience? Like they've got the diehards that keep them going.
I'm glad you asked this, because this is more analytical than me just jabber jawing on stuff. Because
it's the final show, right? It's a
But I like this though. I like this though because it actually brings into why I haven't watched a lot of WCW or WWF or WWE and AEW to a degree. I think AEW took a step back. And I think they took a step back a little bit because of the catering to certain WWE veterans, CM Punk included, because you got to think about what happened. Or me as a viewer, this is not me. I have no tribalistic tendencies to either side. Yes, I have Peacock. Yes, I watch Peacock. If AEW had a $5 thing, I would watch it too. You know this.
Speaking of Pittsburgh, the Pirates won the draft lottery for baseball, the first one ever. So.
Lo and behold, right? I just sent you the Kevin Nash thing that you can watch on your own homework. But here's the thing: is remember, I felt they took a step back because of the injuries, and everybody had an interim title, and there's too many titles because Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor. So what happens is you're propelling wrestlers who are not really part of your wrestling organization. They're on a 2-company contract, but you're trying to put titles. You're trying to say, hey, Ring of Honor on an AEW show. And I understand logistics, but I don't want chocolate in my peanut butter, bro. That's really how simple it is. And then the concept of interim championships just seemed dumb to me when you're going to say the interim title's there, but the title's not being defended until 7 months later. They finally just ended the title reign for Thunder Rosa and put on Jamie Hayter, but now they're saying that Tony Storm's interim reign was a legitimate reign. Like, no, unfortunately, it was interim thing. But look what happened with Punk. Punk wins it in May, man. This is just from 6 months ago. Punk wins it in May. Hurts his foot the following week. Title has to be vacated, but it's not vacated. They're just going to say that's the thing, and then we have the interim championship, and then they're going to beat the hell out of each other. and then Moxley wins it, and then Punk wins it, and then Punk gets hurt again, and then comes the brawl out that happened at All Out, where then the title that he won has to be vacated. It's a bad look. It's complicated, and wrestling doesn't have to be simplistic. And I really think that, and I understand. Here's the thing. Oh, well, the guys that they had for the first 2 years before they were able to get all the WWE releases weren't helping pave the way a lot to get more viewership because of noticeable names. I would agree with you. I can understand that. I do not contend that. Signing of the Christian Cages, signing of the CM Punk, signing of the William Regals, who's now going back to WWE, and I want to talk about that in a second, and Swerves and the Keith Lees and stuff like that. It helps. However, when you're talking about longevity, of all these things, of what there you go, Kevin Nash. We love him. Well, Kevin Nash is from Detroit too, I believe. But when you're talking about longevity of teams, if you want to talk about making new stars, some of these wrestlers are in their 30s and 40s, man. So you always want to have consistency. So you have to push some things there, and everything's kind of hodgepodge. So I felt quality-wise, the matches are always going to kind of feel, I feel, be a little bit superior than WWE, and I'll tell you why. Because they only have 4 pay-per-views a month. So to get that week-to-week viewership, especially since they're under the Warner Brothers umbrella, which is just chopping everything, you need to keep the viewers invested, correct? But right now, for me, what I find myself doing, man, the last couple of months is just I'm just YouTubing it. If they were doing their TV pay-per-view specials that you get on the Wednesdays, I haven't been watching it because I'm just like, and they don't end storylines. The Jericho Appreciation Society of Blackpool Combat Club is still going on, Francis. It's like every year. It's not that it's unwatchable, but it's just missable. And that's actually more worse, don't you think? Because at least it's unwatchable. There was time. Look, I didn't watch Raw and WWE for like 7 years. I was like, you hit that point with me. I'm like, I don't need to do this. My time is precious. But AEW is still a very good brand. Now, I want to side note it to something. So, William Regal, we love William Regal. He was great in WCW, did stuff overseas, came to WWE, had success in WWE. What he was doing up until last year was overseeing NXT on screen as the GM, but also he was part of their talent recruitment, essentially. And Vince fired him because Vince is fucking terrible. And to quote Andrew's guest, who I forgot the name, so I'm trying not to be rude and just make guesses, Vince is a piece of shit. And that's why I see the Charles, because he's gone. So Regal got fired. He went to AEW. He was put front first into the Blackpool Combat Club, managing Moxley, Claudio, Yuta, Bryan, all these people. And then they had him turn. Oh, I guess I should have mentioned that. I didn't mention the pay-per-view, right? I thought I did, but it forgot me because whatever. So we have a new AEW champion, MJF, new champion. I think I probably said that I didn't talk about it last time in Cage because Survivor Series happened. So he beat Moxley. Regal betrayed him, did stuff like that. All the other stuff, Toni Storm lost her title to Jamie Hayter. Good job, Jamie Hayter. Samoa Joe took it from Wardlow. That was disappointing because we did the predictions, but we didn't talk about the results because Survivor Series happened afterwards. So stuff happened, essentially. But last week on Dynamite, MJF, clean clocked Regal out cold with brass knucks. And you thought it was like, okay, but Regal just went heel to go help a heel, continue to be heel. Are we going to get payoff? And it finds out that Regal's contract, the misinformation was out there because they're saying it's a 3-year, it's a 1-year contract, but it could have been an opt-out clause. But the information that's coming out, whatever the reason is, I'm not going to go into the dirt sheets of it. But William Regal, a figurehead, is leaving AEW to go back to WWE. And I think that's mounds, man. I think that's actually bigger than Cody. Because remember, now this is the second big departure. Because everybody's like, oh, Cody's leaving AEW to go back to WWE. I think Vince just threw so much money at him and said, hey, I'm going to give you money. I'm going to give you creativity. I'm going to let you be a trendsetter. And then Cody tore his pec this year. But I think with Regal, it's like the biggest steal that you have because Regal went to go back. He got pushed immediately into a big focus. And you kind of feel that void because it left a lot of unresolved questions. And, there's going to be people who, remember we talked about when Cody went over to WWE after being AEW, the idea is that is the grass greener or is the money just that green? I think there's going to be a young upstarts who are just going to be seeing that Tony Khan is just signing all the WWE cutoffs, not as much anymore, obviously, but if they're getting more TV time, there's wrestlers that you forgot were on the roster, man, that started out 3 years ago. and they're good quality wrestlers. And you're like, ah, shit, I'm not on TV. I'm not doing the story. Rampage, which is their other thing, doesn't get there. We're just going on dark elevate to get matches, and the money's low. Why should I say no to a bigger NXT contract? NXT UK or just coming back, or they're going to be NXT Europe. And I think that's where Regal's going to go, though I think it would be good for Raw. What was those wrestlers saying, hey, why should I just go there and test my bridges? If I fail, I'll go back to the indie scene, right? Yes, you're not working every day of the week like you do in WWE versus AEW and elsewhere. But however, if the money is right, you'll do anything, right? If you make that conscious choice to do so, you do it. I can stay where I'm at my job, but if I go work for a firm that's going to pay me $150,000 a year, which is, I'm telling you kids right now, lawyer-wise, it's unrealistic. Don't listen to Hollywood. That's all fake. There's plenty of good, hardworking attorneys who are basically making less than $80,000. But if I go leave what I'm doing now, that's my public servant's announcement. I did my good deed for Christmas, right? But if I leave my job now, I go there. Yeah, there's an expectation of doing more, right? Because you're getting other kind of things, securities and benefits and stuff like that, and maybe a higher pay as there's more cash out because there's new deals coming out, new contracts and stuff like that that are being revised. And realistically, if WB is paying me a decent salary and then I can still do my gaming content or I can do my OnlyFans content, because remember, Vince put the moratorium on that. So if I'm still allowed to do the side hustles, that doesn't involve me having to wrestle outside of the company, even better, right? So I think that's more of the seismic shift. And it's not going to end AEW whatsoever, but it's going to put into that predicament. Think about it. You have young stars or, young, good, hands out there who the opportunities they would have had are not afforded to them because of who you've established now in AEW with your preferences. And that's how it is sometimes in wrestling. Not everybody can play Macbeth. So somebody has to be, the guy who just comes in the door saying, Lady Macbeth died. That really is my logistical way of explaining wrestling sometimes. And what are you going to do? Are you going to go to the other play that's going to allow you to be the main star attraction? Or are you going to stay there and just be, guy at door one? And I think that's a choice because you had Cody, and Cody's on the wrestling level, but then you have, and I don't know if Regal was there long enough to establish new relationships with people because he has his relationship with the guys that are there. I know Danielson and Claudio and Mox love him, obviously, but it's just interesting to me. And I don't know if there's going to be other stuff, but if there's a bidding war of 2024, as MJF likes to say, there's more than one person who can come over because at this point, wouldn't you want to be out there and strike while the iron's hot on your own name and value? Because what I would want right now is to find a way to be on AEW to get on WWE's radar for more money. And if they end up firing me, I don't care, right? Go elsewhere, go back, or go see what happens. We don't know. But that's to me interesting. What's your 2 cents on that as we close up?
It sounds like, it sucks for AEW in a sense because it's like they're a feeder system to something else. It's almost like, and that's how I see it, like in baseball, right? And teams like the A's and the Marlins and stuff like that. It's like, oh, these guys are just here so that, we can get the attention of these big teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers and all that stuff. And then they'll just leave us anyways instead of like sticking around and trying to strike, make their own name here with us. But then again, that's also, a testament to the organization, right? So like if AEW is not helping them, and it's all about your brand and your image, and you want to, hit the big, be a big star and all that stuff. If you have illusions of grandeur, right? Then WWE has always been, at least, since like the 80s, right? When it started growing, the premier place to have that happen. So, and then every once in a while, you get a guy that can transcend the promotion and be a star someplace else, right? So, but it's fairly rare, but still, it's always a possibility. So,
and you got to remember, I'm arrogant, I'm cocky. If I'm a wrestler, if I'm a performer, man, I'm gonna tell you one thing and one thing only: it ain't the organization that makes me. It ain't the writers that write my promos that make me. I'm the one in that ring. Maybe I'll give some that credence to the guy who's in that ring or that gal who's in that ring with me as my dance partner. But I think that's the arrogance you kind of need a little bit. And if you don't get the contract, you don't get the contract. Wrestling is healthy right now. Wrestling is very healthy compared to where we were 5-6 years ago. We have WWE, AEW, you can go to New Japan, you can go to Impact, you can go to MLW, which is Major League Wrestling, which is kind of like preconception, is the way I'll say it. You'll have Ring of Honor that might come back, because that's the thing too, is when they fully get that television deal, I'm expecting a new crop of people to come into it, or you can just work the territories. Just don't go to Billy Corgan's NWA, because that shit is just ridiculous. We gave him shit a couple weeks ago. I would stand by it and go from there. So yeah, I mean, I just think it's interesting because I want to see people succeed from one place going to another if they didn't have the success. You don't want to see, it's weird with wrestling. Do I want to see success in one program versus success to another one? Like, I watched Bryan Danielson. I love Bryan Danielson. He was Daniel Bryan in WWE. And I'm just like, oh, he's on AEW. And I find myself lingering saying, what now? I'm seeing great matches, but as a person, am I getting the payout? It's the same equivalent of like me watching Anthony Hopkins and Al Pacino for so many years. I'm like, man, when's the next time they're going to get an Academy Award nominated role? Granted, Anthony Hopkins won one a couple years ago for the Priest movie, but I didn't watch it. But I think more about Al Pacino. I was like, okay, the last time Al Pacino got nominated for an Oscar, right? Or even there was a movie you said, Al Pacino's in shit. The last time I went to an Al Pacino movie was Ocean's 13. Granted, I did like it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Highly overrated movie. I don't understand how people think that's Tarantino's best. But I digress. And that's really all I got for you this week in the cage.
Alrighty. Okay, well that's it for us. I guess for the season. I guess in between the off season, I might do some the mini stuff that I usually do, or I'm appearing on a Panthers podcast next week, so you can hear me there too, stuff like that. If Charles feels compelled, he can always do his own little mini entries as well. And then then of course we got the gaming and stuff like that. Now I'll be streaming and things like that. So and of course the Twitters and the social medias and whatnots. So if people want to keep following,
we might make it into a Squid's Goof kind of squad a little bit, because we did convince Andrew to buy Splatoon 3
for real. Yeah, so if we can get like a session, I might actually stream that one time at the very least. But that'd be cool. So
and we'll say this: Andrew's moving, but we're not shutting down.
No.
So, there you go, kids.
We'll figure it out next time. Maybe we'll do like a bi-weekly instead of weekly. Who knows, depending on schedules, right? So there you go. All right, folks. So happy holidays, happy new year, and see you guys next year.
Happy holidays. Be good, everybody.